I'm gonna just jump in with the question first, and then we can do the game when we get some more people.
Froze up again, Tone.
Froze up, but we're live. I think
I froze again.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
did.
froze.
Mm-hmm.
But we're live. What's up, everybody?
We are hot. We are hot.
We're back. We've got like a week left in the season. Can you believe it? I feel like the season just flew by. Yeah, it's been crazy. But Jay, I did want to ask you a question. Okay, so Lakers Clippers played last night, and it wasn't exactly what we were expecting. And I know you were just beginning to buy into this Laker team. How are you feeling now? Do you want your money back, or you still got hope for them?
I do not want my money back just yet, simply because I saw that Clipper team coming. And not only did I see that Clipper team coming, I mentioned this earlier to Tone. The Lakers haven't beaten them since they won the NBA championship in the 1920 season. That's the last time they've beaten them. The Clippers own them 11 straight. And
yeah, but you have to win 65 more in a row to catch them in the all-time series. But go ahead.
The energy wasn't matched last night. The way that the Lakers came out, turning the basketball over, not just turning the basketball over, getting the shots that they were getting in previous games, seeing the looks that they were seeing. I think that was the most important part right there. So the Clippers came out on fire. Norman Powell is one of the best rotation players in the game, which I was just, don't get me wrong, I can appreciate a guy coming off the bench and, giving you some good minutes. But when you get him and you get Bones, given the production that they gave, the Lakers don't have anything to match that. No matter what kind of energy that they come out with. And couple that with the fact that James was just terrible in the first half. And in addition to him being terrible in the first half, they're not good enough for James to be terrible in a half and Anthony Davis to be average. Right. So when that happens, you playing against a good Clipper team, you're going to see the results that you saw. Now, they fought to get back in the game, which was good. But ultimately, I think that guys like Norman Powell and Bones, they were the difference. They were the difference in that game, which I'm glad you brought up the Clippers, because I got a question for Tone. Mm-hmm. Tone, am I out of line when I say I think that Kawhi Leonard, when he retires, he's just going to disappear like Tim Duncan?
I think we'll see Kawhi Leonard less than we've seen Tim Duncan once or twice. I think he jumps into his SUV.
Yeah, time out. You're
am I freezing up again?
Yeah.
Just let me hit.
Maybe we need to reset this. Hold on for a second. Maybe we need to reset this thing. I don't know.
All right. How about now?
Okay, now you're good, Tone. Right. So Tone, I really feel like Kawhi Leonard, it's going to be like he never existed. Like how I think he's just going to disappear.
So I don't know if you heard what I said. What I said was I think we're going to see Kawhi less than we see Tim Duncan.
So how less we see Tim Duncan, we're going to see less of Leonard.
Yeah, he's going to jump into that SUV that owns. I was again, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
God damn it! I don't know what's going on. Tell me if I'm live. Just Hailey, just put up your hand when I freeze and put it down when I'm back. Okay.
I got you.
So I'm back now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I can't explain it. That being said, I think he jumps into that old ass SUV he has, and
literally, does he really have an old? I didn't know.
He has the same one he had in college.
Really?
Still got it.
That makes me love him more, man.
Still drives
I love this guy.
Still
drives it. Now he's since has bought a Rolls, but
yes.
But yeah, he has this SUV.
Yeah, H. So I don't want my money back just yet, right?
Okay.
I'm not ready to cash in my chips just yet with the Los Angeles Lakers. I do think that Clipper team, I don't know what it is, and I don't know why the Lakers have had such a difficult time with them. But I think that Darvin Ham got out coached last night, and I think that if the Lakers were to see the Clippers in the playoffs, I think this could be a huge problem for the Lakers. Huge problem.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And Norman Powell, I love Norman Powell. He was great in Portland. And of course, he's been in and out of the lineup all season, now getting Bones. But you're right, the Lakers don't have anything to match that. I mean, thankfully now they are a much better unit than they were before, right? They have some defense going. Vanderbilt's been incredible. AD's been healthy for a stretch, fingers crossed. But they don't have shooters that can come out if you have two other guys on a team getting hot. I mean, I think if they're going to struggle if they meet Sacramento, Golden State, Phoenix, like I just don't think that they have anything to match up with that. And that's been my hesitation. But Fluent, I mean, you're a big time Laker fan. Did that game make you, worry about them any more or less? Or are you kind of in the same place with them?
I feel like every time I start talking, I freeze. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It happened again. Okay. You guys take it on. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. So to add to your point, H, I think that this roster is different. With this roster being different from what it was when they had Russell Westbrook, right? Yeah. When they had Kendrick Nunn and those guys, they had to play different. Now, with bringing in Russell, with bringing in Beasley, with bringing in Vanderbilt, there isn't the adjustment period. It isn't that difficult with this group because number one, what they got to do on this Laker team, they were already doing it where they were. So D'Angelo Russell, he's got less responsibility, yet he could be more productive. Same thing with Vanderbilt. So all he's got to be is what he was up in Los Angeles as a D&3 guy, and now he's going to get even more open shots and play defense better. Now Beasley has been a little inconsistent with shooting the long ball, even though before he got on Lakers, I mean, he was leading the league. He was leading the league in 3-pointers made. So I think the acclimation to the Lakers is going a lot smoother than I thought, but I still think that there's still an adjustment period that has to happen here with this group. But I think that they're going to go. I've said it to you before, H, and I still stand on it. I think they're going to go as far as Anthony Davis takes them. As good as James is, I just think that they're going to go as far as Anthony Davis takes them.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, AD, I feel bad because it's like narrative surrounding AD has been pretty bad. People say, oh, his motors run out or he doesn't try. And you have to, I mean, you guys have probably both struggled with injuries at points, but to have that over and over and over again, the mental battle that you have to fight with that, it's not that he just shows up as I don't feel like playing today. I think he's just been through a lot, but this is the time of the season where it's you can't play average. You have to give it your all.
Yes.
You missed the playoffs last season. You're the Lakers. You have the pieces. Your GM has done all this to better you guys, so you have to take advantage of it. And LeBron having a bad first half. I mean, he still came out hot and did his thing in the second, but I don't know if I stand with them. All right, Fluent, you back?
I have no idea if I'm back.
You sound good, and you look a lot
clearer. I have
clearer.
no idea if I'm back. I will say that
you're back. You're frozen again.
Are you kidding?
I don't know what's going on, Tom. Do we need to?
Yeah, we can get out and come back in.
Do we need
because if I leave, we're done.
Our slot's gone. It's over for Fluent.
You know what? I will work from the background as producer. It is just the two of you. Enjoy the show.
Oh, we can still hear you. Yeah, we can still hear you, Tom.
You sound better now.
It's just for whatever reason it's cutting in and out.
Okay,
right?
Not now. It's not. I can hear you just fine, Tom.
All right, I'll try it, but I'll say this.
One more time.
All right, fine. I feel like this is gonna, everyone's gonna grill me and say it's an excuse. but 3 games in 4 nights, back to back. They said we knew that LeBron, AD, and D'Lo were questionable. They really they weren't even going to play. Right. So they had chalked this up as a loss going against the Clippers, who are going to have 3 days rest, who are already a team that's here. You know what? I'll try audio only. Maybe that'll help. We're trying against a team that is coming off 3 days rest, who's already deep in them to begin with, a 10-game winning streak to begin with. So yeah, I know it's a bunch of excuses, but at the same time, they probably should have just taken it off. They probably should have just not played.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. I think they would have gotten slack either way. If they hadn't played, people would be upset. If they did play and lost, people are upset. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. It now segueing into this next week, Jay. They're at the 7th seed now, right? And if they win both of their games and Golden State loses one, they're the 6th seed, right? Or so, yeah, I think so. So I mean, they're still in the game. They're still running the race.
Yes. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I do.
You do? So you think they'll end with that 6th seed?
I think that I'm not sure about the 6th seed, but I do think that they're going to make the playoffs. Considering, I mean, they play. I think they ended with Phoenix and Utah, both at home.
Right.
I think Phoenix has the 4 seed wrapped up, so they could very well sit Kevin Durant. They could very well sit Book and decide that they're just going to let those guys sit. And because, like I said, there's nothing else that Phoenix could possibly do in order to change their positioning, right? And
yeah.
I think Utah is just about eliminated. So
yeah,
I don't think this is going to come down to, I don't think this is going to come down to like the last day of the season for the Lakers. So with that being said, I still think that they're going to make the playoffs. But if they end up in the play-in tournament, right, where, I don't know, they got to play Minnesota if they got to play Minnesota for the 7th seed. So, I mean, I think that they could beat Minnesota in a one game runoff, and they can wrap up the 7th seed. Yeah. But this is the Western Conference that I haven't seen in a long time, to be quite honest with you. When I think about how it's not weak, I'm not going to say weak, H, but it's not nearly as strong as it used to be in the past. It's not nearly as strong. Like I said, just before yesterday, we only had one 50-win team in the Western Conference. Now we're talking about years ago where 50 wins got you to 7 seed, right? So now, before yesterday, we only had one team, and that was Denver.
Yeah.
Memphis just got their 50th win yesterday. So with that being said, we got 2 50-win teams in the Western Conference. That's it. Yeah. So I think the Western Conference, I think it's a lot more competitive today than it was back then. But also, you also got a lot of teams that could get bounced early too.
Right.
A lot of good teams that could get bounced early.
Right. Fluent, can people hear us?
I have no idea.
Chat, give us a 1 in the chat if you can hear us, a 2 if you can't. If you can't, we'll jump out and try to come back. Is
this all? Am I breaking it for everybody?
You're good. 1-1. Okay,
I think we're good.
All right.
I think
3.
we're good.
Boy, what is 3? Okay.
That's 1, 3. What is all that?
Do you want to jump into the game now, or shall we do playoff matchups and get into that? Let's try a game.
Who knows? You want to try the game? All right.
I'm kind of excited about this game, Tone. I was like, yo, what's going on? Tone he got something brewing. What you got, Tone?
I got a game that we can. I keep seeing the 1-3-1. What? I don't understand what all that is.
Oh, I just asked them to let us know if they can hear us.
They said they missed the first 5 minutes. All right. Well, there you go.
Well, we're here now.
There you go. Hey, whatever. It's all good. So check this out. This is a game. It is going to be. Let's see. Who's it going to be? All right. We're going to do Hailey and Jay, our team. Okay. I got to pull it up so the chat can see it. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's be honest. We don't know what's working right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Hailey and Jay, you are a team. Chat, you are a team.
Okay.
All
Chat,
right.
you guys are a team.
I'm going to turn off my cam because apparently there's a problem with my cam. And my cam is as bad as the Raptors. I don't know what's going on because it worked perfectly this afternoon when we did. Shoot, what's it called? The panel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you ready? So here's the thing. Yep. All right, so the winner. We're gonna go through. Let me see. We're gonna go through 10. Let me see who the first 10 are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. You're gonna see 10 people matched 2 faces blended together. I'm gonna give you 10.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever gets the most right. Okay, whoever gets this is courtesy of, I don't know, we'll see it in a second. Guess who? NBA Guess Who? NBA Guess Quiz, excuse me.
Yep.
Here we go. So whoever gets the most out of 10, either Hailey and Jay or someone in the chat, I will be clicking off. Okay. I'm going to check off who's getting them right. Whoever gets the most gets 50 Fluent dollars.
Nice.
What? All right,
You
let's
ready?
go. Yeah. I'm good at these sometimes.
You're good at these?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see.
Let's see what we got.
We got it, Jay. Let's go.
What do we got? That's easy.
Yeah. LeBron and Harden.
Easy. No. That's LeBron. That's LeBron and Kate. That's LeBron and KD.
Oh,
You got it wrong.
No,
we got it wrong.
Deco got it right. Congratulations to the chat. Here we go.
All right, Jay.
Here we go. Number 2.
No problem. We good.
I see it in the eyes now.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
you have until the time that it shows it on the screen.
Right.
Okay.
Can you hear the music or no?
Yes.
Yeah. This is fancy.
Cool. Yeah. Hurry if it shows up before you answer, you lose.
That's a good one. I don't know who that is.
Harden and Westbrook.
Everybody got it wrong.
Tough. That was tough.
Oh, that's easy.
Kawhi and Steph.
No, H. That's
Kyrie.
Yes.
I meant Kyrie. And we got it before the chat. Yeah, there we go.
All right, you got it. It's 1-1.
Oh, that's easy. That's Chris Paul and Paul George. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Leonard.
No.
That is Paul George. I was right. Paul George.
Yeah, you're good.
Who and who?
Paul George
Chris Paul and Paul George.
Yeah.
You got it.
I was right.
That was a good one. Kawhi and DeMar.
Yep.
Bam. Woo. You fast.
H Boogie in the house.
We're smoking the chat.
3-1.
Right now.
That means I get to keep my money. You guys get nothing.
Clay and Caruso.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. You're not even giving the chat a chance.
No shot. You guys got no shot. We shutting the door on this.
That's a crazy looking guy.
5-1 chat.
All right, Jay, this is all you. You got it?
Luka and Joker.
Yeah.
How are you guys so good at this?
It's all in the eyes. Now I just look at the eyes and then it gives it away. Chat, you guys are slow.
Damian Lillard and Giannis.
Nice. Yep.
6-1. Uh-oh.
Nice.
All right,
nice.
give him a chance. Give him a chance on this one. Give the chat. Wait until there's 1 second left.
Draymond didn't. Oh, okay.
Just give him a chance.
Yeah, because they have to type it out. That's tough.
Yeah.
Chat this one. Yeah. Dre, they got it. Nice.
Did they get it?
Yeah.
Giannis and Luka? No, that was the last one.
Chat.
Win chat. Okay, give them that. Okay, now you can smoke this one. Go ahead.
Oh, that's easy. That's DeJounte Murray and Middleton.
Yep.
You got it. All right. Wow, you guys smoked that.
Eat it, haters.
Yeah.
Wow, that was impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Eat it, haters. Eat it.
L chat. That's a good game though. They should do one. They should do one where they combine 3. I feel like that'd be tougher. Fluent. The camera's all weird.
No, we understand why Tone is off camera right now. He's trying to get this whole thing working. It seems like it's working though. All right, I think we good.
Yeah, we're back.
We hot.
Yeah. Wow. So I've got another. I did not tell them the answers. I absolutely did not tell them the answers. I will say you guys killed it. I have 10 more for the next time we do this, but my Fluent Junior has been killing me with these things. He gets them so much faster than I do. I'm going to be honest. They don't, as you see, they just show you the pictures. They don't actually give you the names underneath. And so I actually had to go to him before the show and say, hey, I just want to confirm this was the second 10. The first 10 are actually pretty easy. The next 10 actually get really hard. It gets harder as you go along, right? And I had to confirm for next week's show. I was like, can you just tell me who these guys are, and he's like, oh, daddy, that's this person, that's that person. So yes, he's definitely the king of the court when it comes to this mashup face game. I gotta shout out one other thing though.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fluent Junior, so we played this quiz, right? Where like you have like 5 questions. You remember that game 20 questions where you have to ask?
Yes.
Okay, so we play 5 questions, and it's like guess the NBA player, guess the NBA team, guess the whatever. I look better without a camera. Thank you, I appreciate that. I have a face for radio. So we play this 5-question game, and so I tried to give him a hard one. And so it was, you have 3 questions to guess the NBA team, and it was the Toronto Huskies. He got it right, but then said, oh, the Huskies, just like my team that won the NCAA championship. And I go, huh? Because I had no idea he paid attention to college basketball. And I said, Jay knows someone from UConn. I go, why are you a Huskies fan? Oh, and 2K, that's the university that my guy is from that I made. I'm like, oh, of course it's 2K. That makes so much more sense.
It's a good way to learn, though. I mean, he obviously has a ton of knowledge now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will read that later. Did you see
Yes.
Angie? All right.
Yes.
So currently, Miami is smacking the Sixers,
Smoking these dudes,
Yes.
destroying them.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I wasn't surprised. I'm glad Joel's there. I'm glad the team played, but I also knew they weren't gonna put 100% effort in. This isn't a must win for them, but it's obviously for Joel's situation. He wants to get MVP, which we'll get into a little bit later. But we have some possible matchups here, and Jay. Fluent, I mean, this is a hot take. It might not be Boston, but I do think like we're gonna see a major superpower get booted in the first or second round. And I'm gonna tell you why, because in the play-in currently, we got Miami at 7, we got Atlanta at 8, Toronto at 9, and then Chicago at 10. And then in the East or the West, we have some pretty good teams as well. I'm just saying, look at Miami. Miami heats up in the playoffs. We've seen it before. I think that they're good enough to maybe knock out somebody we're not expecting. But yeah, I guess, Jay,
I wish you could see my face right now. What?
So currently the matchups are Bucks Celtics are ? Philly versus the Nets, and then the Cavs versus the Knicks. Okay. So Jay, in Philly versus Nets, who are you rolling with? That one's pretty.
I think Philly serves them, and the reason why I think Philly serves them is because of Joel Embiid. I think that Brooklyn has enough guys, and I've mentioned this in the past. When you're in the playoffs, you need a guy that's going to push you over the top. I think Brooklyn has plenty of guys who can keep it close, but that one guy who can get you over the hump, they don't have that guy.
Yeah.
And the playoff atmosphere is a lot different. And as good as Claxton is as a defender, as good as he is as a rebounder, I think that they go to Joel Embiid early and often, and I think he takes advantage of their front line. Not just Claxton, their entire front line. And I just think that they're too much for Brooklyn. I think that they beat them in 5 games. I'd be surprised if it went past 6 games. I'd be surprised.
And especially because they have no superstars on their team. Like every other team for the most part has like a major star versus now. I love the Nets. I like what they're doing, but it's not enough to be like a serious contender. Okay, what about Cavs Knicks? I think that matchup is going to be so interesting. I'm loving both of these teams, and they both deserve, the most credit. But who do you have coming out there?
I think that the Cavs win this series, but I think they win it in a 6-7 game dogfight. And I think that the Cavs front line is going to be the difference in this series. I think they got just as good a rotation players. I'm a big fan. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I really dig their rotation. I dig Quigley. I also dig Grimes. Grimes kind of reminds me of a younger, more controlled version of John Starks. And his ability to knock down shots, not just knock down shots, get to the basket and defend. Brunson gets it going whenever he wants. But the difference with that Cavs team, though, is that Cavs team, their front line with Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, I just think that their front line is just going to wear down the Knicks and ultimately drop them.
Fluent?
I missed the question, to be honest with you. I missed the question because of my technical issue. So please ask it again, and I will give you an excellent answer that's both eloquent and knowledgeable.
Well, I was going to say, in a matchup, what it's looking like right now is possibly Cavs, Knicks. Who you got and why?
Oh, Cavs, Knicks? Listen, man. Last year, I got to give you last year. So last year I said Boston was a year away.
Yeah.
And they went to the final. So they did it a year early. This year I said from the beginning of the season, all through the season into the playoffs, Jay can attest to this. I said the Cavs are a year away. Yeah. So if anything I've learned about my own logic is when I say a team is a year away, they typically tend to exceed those expectations.
The Cavs in the finals.
So I'm not going to say that they're in the finals. I'm not going to say that they're in the finals, but I think I like I really like the Knicks. Yeah. I love what I see from Jalen Brunson. I like what I see from Julius Randle. The injury now has got me a little concerned. I don't know if that's what you said as well. But I'm gonna go with the Cavs. I think they are just a really well put together team. That the defense that they continue to have, plus the offense that they're getting from Donovan Mitchell. I think in a 7-game series, it's going to be tough for the Knicks. My question marks are one of Jay's favorite players is RJ Barrett. I think he's too inconsistent. Right? He has all-star potential, too inconsistent. So I got, if I had to pick a game, I think it's gonna be a 7-game series. I think it's gonna be, whoever gets the lucky bounce. And if I had to pick, I'm gonna go with the Cavs.
And I think that's also due to the fact, Tone, that they don't really involve RJ in the offense as much as they should. Like, I was about to call him Rick Brunson. I'm sorry. Jalen Brunson. I was about to call him Rick Brunson. I'm sorry. Jalen Brunson, he might shoot a little bit too much for me for a point guard. And I would like to see him get his other guys, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett. I'd like to see him get those other guys involved more. That could possibly be the difference in them winning a series or losing a series. And with RJ Barrett, a lot of people might look down on him and, he doesn't perform like he really should. Well, when you're not getting involved in the offense as much as you possibly can, then that would be a reflection on it. Your point guard getting you involved in the offense. Don't get me wrong. I think that RJ Barrett, when he does get involved, he's one of the better guards in the league. But I'm not sure that that Brunson can get him involved like he should. He shoots a little bit too much for me for a point guard.
Yeah, and I think part of that, though, comes from where he came from, right? Like, they were asking him, although Luka's taken a lot of shots, but he was the secondary scorer. They needed him to shoot, right? They needed some other offense other than Luka. And it's tough to, play a certain way and then completely change your style. So I get, not that I'm letting him off the hook, but I'm kind of letting him off the hook.
Well, here's the thing, though, Tone. I mean, he did the same thing when he was in college. When he was in college, he was the best point guard in the country. He averaged over 5 assists a game, which in college, that's a lot. In the pros, it's really not that much, because considering how many more guys you have who can score. But when he was at Villanova, he was the best point guard in the country and one of the better distributors in the country. So his ability to pass, no question, it's there. Why he doesn't get the guys that are in, why doesn't he get these guys more involved in the offense? I think it's largely due to the fact that the NBA is so wide open, and the narrative on guards being able to score kind of elevates the narrative about you. So because of that, I think he looks for his offense more than he looks for everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. And I know we're going to get into the Mavs in a little bit, but do you think that
we can get into them now? Let's get into them.
Are you sure? Okay, yeah, let's do it. And then we'll jump over to the West. But all this is going on with Mavs. And honestly, so Skip Bayless came out last week and was like, they're shutting down Luka and Kyrie, which was not even true. I turned on the game and I was like, what are these dudes doing here? So they said they were going to shut him down, didn't even shut him down. It seemed like they were I don't think it was the players. I think they wanted to play, but it felt like the staff or maybe the front office was kind of like, we don't really see that we're going to go deep, so let's just shut these guys down. So maybe that's where the rumor came from. But then they're back out there. They lose a very important game that they should have won. And then they came out last night. Was it last night? I think it was last night. Won the game, barely, but they won. And now they're kind of hovering at the are they 11 seed right now, 12. I'm not even sure where they are, but they're hovering.
They're at 11.
Below.
They're below
Right.
Utah.
Right.
They're at 11.
Yeah, and of course we've seen they traded away Brunson, then Dorian Finney-Smith, Dinwiddie, and now they're stuck with this unit that's trying to figure it out. Very offensive heavy, right, with Kyrie and Luka, but they just don't seem right. Should they just throw in the towel now? Do you guys think, or do you think they should just give it a try? Why not?
Tone?
Listen, you know how I feel about the Mavericks. There's no defense. So can this team that has had 5 seconds to try and mesh with no defense, that, as Luka has said, we have no confidence. We have no confidence in our team. We have no confidence in our scoring. We have no confidence in each other. Are they going to make noise in the playoffs? The answer is no. You know that it's no. So why put yourselves through a play-in where you have to win 2 games just to get into the playoffs? Just, you know what? Sit them down. Drop a couple of spots. Get some more ping pong balls, and maybe you get lucky, and you can get a top 5 pick. If I don't know if they have their first round pick, I'm assuming they do. And just call it a night. Like, there is no shame in walking away. That's it. Yeah. Like, everyone just thinks you got to stay and fight and blah blah blah. And sure, in most cases, I'm not saying it's okay to be a quitter, but sometimes, right? Look, there's 20 feet of snow outside, and my shovel's broken. I'm gonna go back inside and wait till it melts. I don't need to shovel my way out of it. I can wait. I don't need to get to work. I'm good. And I think that's where they are. They're sitting facing this 10 feet of snow with a broken shovel. Just let it melt. Let it melt. Summer's coming.
2 things, H.
Yeah.
I thought that Kyrie Irving was a rental before I saw how D'Angelo Russell was working with the Lakers. And I like D'Angelo Russell with the Lakers. I think he fits better with them more than Kyrie Irving does. I think Kyrie Irving's a better player, but I think D'Angelo Russell fits better with them. So with that being said, what's the market for Kyrie Irving if he becomes a free agent? Who is going to go as far as 4 years with him? I don't think anybody's going to go as far as 4 years with him. No, I don't think that's happening. So I think that Dallas gives him the contract that he wants. And what I mean, I'm going to rephrase that. They give him the contract that is fair for both parties. That's number one. And I think what they do is they use the rest of that money to bolster the roster defensively, because that's where the problem is. The problem isn't with Kyrie Irving and Luka. The problem is that, number one, they have no perimeter defense. 2, they don't rebound. And 3, they have terrible transition defense. They can't stop anybody. So because of that, we can't expect these guys to do anything in the playoffs. Nothing. So I do think that Kyrie Irving now will be back next year. I just don't think that they're going past 3 years with him. I think that they're going to go 3 years.
If Kyrie and J Kidd are back next year, trade Luka. I know we talked about it.
What are you talking about?
You don't want him to win? J Kidd is not coaching a team to a championship. Kyrie is not at this point in his career a number 2 on a championship team. He's not.
Well, yeah,
he's not.
Kyrie.
Pardon?
I would say probably.
No, but if he's saying, but he's saying Kyrie's going to be back.
I think he's going to be back there, and there's no way they get. They just signed Luka to an extension. He's not going anywhere, and they're not trading him either. No, that's not happening.
I know they're not trading him. Let's be clear. I know they're not trading him. What I'm saying is, if you're going to keep J Kidd, maybe let me re-say this a different way. If you're going to keep J Kidd and Kyrie for 3-4 years,
right,
then ship Luka off, because you're saying we want to lose, and that's not fair to this poor dude. Right. People are starting to blame Luka. They're saying, "Oh, you can't play with Luka. He can't play." No, dude. No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. No, fool me once. What? Which one is it?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Yeah, shame on me. I had a George Bush moment. Yeah. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So now, how many times has Kyrie got to fool people? He fooled him in Boston. He fooled him in Brooklyn. He's fooling them in Dallas.
But here's the thing, though, Tone. We had this conversation about why James Harden got all of the flack that he got, but Luka wasn't getting that flack. Well, Luka was performing in the playoffs. Well, now we get Luka in a position where he can't even make the play-in tournament. And now that chatter is starting to get louder. Well, maybe Luka is the problem. Maybe Luka is the one who needs the. When in reality, no, he isn't. The way that this team is put together, they're not put together to win. Now, ironically, he's playing for a coach who I still can't believe this is going on. He's playing for a coach, Tone, who has almost a decade of being an all-league defender, yet he can't get him to defend.
Okay, let me address that in a second. But first. Fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me 2 times, can't put the blame on you. Fool me 3 times, F the peace sign. No, that is J. Cole. That is what I'm talking about is way before J. Cole was even born. Don't think I don't know the lyric from J. Cole.
Just so you know, Andrew, J. Cole did not make that up. No, he did not. No.
I think they play it in the beginning of that song too, don't they? Like the actual audio.
Yeah, he did not make that up. No, he didn't, sir.
Yeah. On you. Anyways, I like that song. So okay, back to I don't even know where we were.
We're talking about Luka now, the narrative on him changing.
It's just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to blame Luka at this point. I don't know how people do it. I'm sorry. That whole thing threw me off. Yeah, I don't know how they're blaming Luka. I don't know how they're.
Wait a minute, Tone. He doesn't skate on this neither, though.
No, I know. I'm sorry. You were saying about Kyrie. I know what I was going to say. I was going to go off on a whole nother different direction because you said who would sign Kyrie. You know where Kyrie would make sense?
Toronto.
At the hell no. For the right price. For the right price. He would make sense. Mm-hmm. And you got to move. Look, you got to move this other dude. He would make sense as a Clipper. No. And let me tell you why it would make sense as a Clipper. Let me tell you why it would make sense as a Clipper. Go ahead. You got to move on from Westbrook, which listen. It's a good idea to move on from Westbrook. Anyways,
why?
Because he can't even play the second half of a game because he stinks. So move on from Westbrook.
No, we're not going to do that, Fluent.
He's been good.
He's been good enough. I'm defending Russ.
Hold on, let me finish.
But this is terrible already.
Hold on, it's not terrible. Listen. One, he won't be the first option. Okay, so behind Kawhi and Paul George, he's clearly the number 3, if not the 4. Okay, they're used to playing with players who are part-time players. So even when he misses his 40 games because of whatever he needs to do, they're ready for that. They're used to that. It's in their DNA because they got Kawhi, and that's just part of who they are. So he actually makes sense. So that's why I say he's not going to be the number 2. You can't tell me one team that Kyrie is the number 2 that you are picking to win an NBA championship. You can't. And if you do, you're lying. So he needs to be on a team where he's going to be the 3rd, maybe 4th option. It's the only team that actually makes sense for him to go to where they don't have to rely on him all the time. That's the only if you want to win a championship with Kyrie. That's the caveat that I gave you before. That's the only one that makes sense. That's the only one that makes sense.
Two problems with your logic, Tone. Two problems with your logic, Tone. Number one, Kyrie Irving going to the Clippers means he's going to be more expensive. Russ is a lot cheaper. That's number one because Russ has less years. Yes, Russ is a lot cheaper because he's got less years. He's got less years left. But he also fits better with them. Why does he fit better with them? Because as the primary ball handler, he takes the onus off Paul George. He takes the onus off Kawhi Leonard. So when you get into the meat and potatoes of the game, like I've mentioned this to you in the past, when you get into the meat and potatoes of the game, you can stuff him in the corner. You can get him off the basketball. And now Kawhi Leonard, now Paul George, those guys can be primary ball handlers more, as opposed to Kyrie Irving is such a polarizing presence that you got to get him shots. You don't have to get Russ shots. Kyrie Irving isn't the playmaker that Russ is. He's not the distributor that Russ is. And because he's not the distributor that Russ is, he's not going to get guys like Norman Powell, like Bones. He's not going to get these guys involved in the offense like Russell Westbrook is. It fits better with Russ. Add that to the fact that, again, on opening night next year, Russ is going to be 34. How many more years you think Russ got left? I think Russ has, let's see. When I say not 34, I'm sorry. I think he'll be 35. Russ is, I think he'll be 35 on opening night. No, I'm sorry. either 34 or 35. So I think Russ got another year, 2 tops at this level. So to have Russ for 2 years at a reduced rate, where now you can probably bolster your roster even more, as opposed to Kyrie Irving, whose price tag is a lot higher, that does not make sense at all.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that for me, when you look at the two players, you got Kyrie, you got Russ. What is the one thing that Russ is going to do day in and day out that Kyrie won't? Be reliable, play hard, work hard, give his all. Kyrie's not going to do that. Maybe 30 games, maybe 40, maybe 50. And so for me, I just hate, like, I get it. Russ was bad. He was bad in LA. It wasn't the right situation. Everyone recognizes that, even like, people who love Russ, and it just wasn't right.
H, is that the reason why he was bad? Is it because he's bad or because it wasn't the right fit?
No. It's not him. I mean, you look at his whole career, you knew what you were getting in certain aspects, but you also have to cater to what his skill set is. You can't just change him. You can't change a person. And so
can Russ be your starting point guard on a championship team?
I think that he could. I think he could with the right pieces.
Tone, I said the same thing about Kyle Lowry until Kawhi Leonard showed up. I said the same thing about Kyle Lowry. You could not talk me off that ledge until Kawhi Leonard showed up, and that team looked much different with them, and it reduced his role, and he didn't have to do nearly as much. And the stuff that he was really bad at got covered up because of the stuff that Kawhi Leonard was really good at. So I said the same thing about Kyle Lowry. If you put the right pieces, I don't think that Russ is your starting point guard on the championship team if he's the guy. No.
Yeah. Number one option, no. Number two, probably not. Maybe number
three.
Though.
So you're picking Russ over Kyrie right now.
Yes,
both of you.
For the Clippers.
I think he's a better. I think he's a better fit with the Clippers.
I know. I feel you, Fluent. Like, I get it. I'm sad about Kyrie. I'm just sad. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed in him and what he's been.
You're gonna be a good parent. I'm not mad at you.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel a lot of things have gone wrong with him, but I'm just disappointed in where he's at. I'm glad that he's still trying with Luka, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, the Mavs, man, they've just been such a disappointment this season. But the other teams, okay, tomorrow we have a matchup with Sacramento and Golden State. It's kind of a playoff preview. I mean, we'll see what happens. Anything, like, they could definitely drop to the 7th seed, 8th seed. But it's probably, I think it's going to end up being what we're going to see. Do you guys think that Sacramento is going to, they're scary. They're trying to, like, make an imprint right now because everyone's discounting them. People are saying, like, we all want to play Sacramento. Maybe people are wrong. Like, maybe people should be a little bit more afraid, or maybe they're right. But how do you think that matchup's going to go?
I love the fact that they're getting Andrew Wiggins back. And I think that the fact that they're able to work him in slowly and get him back acclimated to, because he doesn't have to get back on this roster and be 19, 20 a game. No, he doesn't have to do that. He gets back on this roster, and what he does, which is defend, get out in transition, he can do that for stretches. Now, against this Sacramento team that isn't very good defensively, but likes to speed the game up, that's who the Golden State Warriors are also. And they've proven in the past that once the playoff starts with Clay, Steph, and Dre, once the playoff starts, when these guys are healthy, the road to the NBA championship goes through the Bay Area. And I'm putting my money on the Golden State Warriors, as much as I dig what I'm seeing in Sacramento, because I think Mike Brown could get out-coached. I do. I think he can get out-coached.
Fluent. Let us know.
No, I'm thinking, like, if we're just asking for the one game, the chat is saying that Wiggins, Kerr said Wiggins isn't going to play the last 2 games, so he might not play. I've been fighting Jay on this for the last, 6 months 3 months that the Warriors haven't been good. 4 months, however long it's been. That, the road in the West doesn't go through the Warriors. And then when Wiggins stepped away and we saw what the record was on the road, we're like, I bought it into it 0%. With Wiggins back, with everyone presumably healthy, with Gary Payton, what is he, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 5th, the 17th? Back and apparently healthy. The Warriors now become, as Jordan would say, they become a threat. they become a threat.
Yes.
And you mentioned earlier this one of the top superpowers. There's no superpowers. There's no superpower team, super whatever that in the West. I don't think there's really that many in the East, to be honest, either. But in the West, for sure, there's not. Like we were talking about it again earlier today on the panel, where where I asked the question: could the top 4 seeds lose? It's actually like no one thinks it's gonna happen, but they could. Like if you think about it, could Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, I got to move my hand here, and Phoenix lose to the Clippers, the Warriors, the Lakers, and I don't know who the other team is, whoever's going to be the other team? The answer is yeah, because we haven't seen Denver do it. We've not seen Jokic take a team deep into the playoffs. That's the big knock on him. The Grizzlies are in shambles mentally. We have no idea. They could sweep you or get swept just as easy by any team. The Kings haven't been to the playoffs since before you were born.
I know. Basically.
Right? So we're not doing anything with the Kings, right? And the Phoenix, Phoenix might be the one that is the saving grace, but let's be honest. They're a KD slip up in the warm-up line away from losing too. Like now every team is one injury away, but
true.
But it's just like I don't think I've ever said the top 4 teams legitimately have a chance where they all could lose. So back to my point on the Warriors. So now you got this Warriors team who no one thought was going to win the NBA championship last year. You're a Dubs fan. Did you pick them to win a chip last year? Be honest.
I mean,
like, random aside, did you really think they had a shot last year?
Yeah, I did. I'll be honest though, only because we were so good right off the bat, or like they were good
before the season started, before you saw them play.
Oh hell no, hell no.
I did not have the Warriors winning the NBA championship.
Not many people did. So now they're in the same kind of boat where it's the same team, if not. Some people say it's a little bit better team. I don't know if you add a little bit of experience. I don't know. I think they're worse, but they're not tremendously worse. They're in a worse Western Conference, I think. There's no
on the road. They just look terrible.
Hey, all they got to do is win one on the road and win all their games at home. Right? That's all they got to do. If you think about it, is win one game on the road. Right? They can go 1-4 on the road every series as long as they go 3-0 at home.
That's
which they're really good at home.
Yeah,
they got a good team at home.
Right? So as Jay would say,
that's not ridiculous to say.
Yeah.
So I think now I'm not there yet. Not there yet. But maybe the Western Conference does still go through Golden State, right? Like it's an old saying.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
And with Clay, Steph, and Dre in the lineup since the 14-15 season, this team has been playing in June. With those 3 dudes in the lineup healthy.
There you go.
Since 14-15. That's the last, 8 years? Yeah, 8 seasons.
6 and 8. Yeah.
Yeah. These dudes in the lineup healthy. They've been playing in June. There's only 2 teams that play in June, and they're the other team. So until somebody bounces them with those dudes in the lineup healthy, the road to the NBA championship goes through Golden State.
Okay, I like it. And I guess right now, give me real quick, and then we'll move on because we'll probably do this again when the playoffs start.
Do some super chats after this?
Yeah, we'll do some super chats. But real quick, Fluent Western Conference, who you got coming out? Has it changed, or who do you think we'll see? You don't have to give us who's coming out.
I think it's changed because for most of the season until the Jaw stuff, I had Memphis. I really had Memphis surprising everybody and coming out of the West for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
I want to say the Lakers.
Say it. It's okay.
I really want to say the Lakers, but I'm
surprised you didn't, to be honest.
As a fan, I'll say the Lakers. As a fan, I'll say the Lakers. But realistically, everybody healthy. There's no reason why Phoenix shouldn't win. They are the most talented, the most that is the best team in the West from a talent perspective. And they've been there, right? CP3. Now Booker, Ayton, they know what it takes to get to the final. They don't know what it's like to win it, but they know what it's like to get to it. So they should. I'm not picking them, but they should. They should win.
Tone, we are in the Western Conference Championship, and the Lakers are in the Western Conference Championship. How do you feel about the Lakers winning the NBA championship? We get to this point now. Yeah. We get to this point now in the playoffs, and the Lakers are in the Western Conference Championship. How you feel about them winning it?
I think whoever comes out of the East is going to win it.
Okay.
They make it through all the adversity, and they make it there. You don't think they can do something?
I think they're a semifinals team, to be honest with you. I do. I think they're a semifinals team at best. I don't think that they go past the semifinals. I would be very surprised if the Lakers ended up in the Western Conference Championship. I think the road to the NBA championship goes through the Bay, and I think the team with the best shot to beat them, I think, is the Denver Nuggets. I think they're the most complete and the most consistent unit.
And they've beat them every game this season too.
I hate, but you know the regular season means nothing, right?
Yes, which is a great segue into what we're going to talk about next, because I have a list, all right? I have a list of 6 dudes, 6 players, some great guys, and these are 6 of the guys that I think have the most to prove this postseason, okay? So I'm going to read them off, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Yep. These are my 6 guys, all right? Bam, KD, Harden, Tatum, Jokic, and AD. Those are 6 guys I feel like have something to prove.
That's fair.
Again, Bam, KD, Harden,
Tatum, Jokic, and
AD.
AD. Okay.
So my first question, we'll start with you, Fluent. Is there anybody on that list that you don't agree with that you would sub in? Like a name you're like, nah, they're good, and this is somebody I would replace it with. Or do you agree with the list?
That these are the No, your list. I'm good with the list. What's the question? I'm good with the list.
My question is there somebody you're taking off that list that you think they don't need to prove something and like you would add somebody else in their spot?
Players that don't need to prove something so I would take AD off the list.
Okay.
He doesn't need to prove anything. He's won a championship.
Yes, he has.
I don't think KD needs to prove anything. He's won back-to-back MVPs. So I don't think AD or KD have anything that they need to prove in the playoffs, right? Is the question?
Yeah. This season. If they get bounced, does that look bad to their legacy? Are they good with or without?
No.
Okay. Anybody?
I'd replace KD with Embiid.
Okay.
I'd replace Embiid, and I would replace AD if I have to replace him with someone. Let me see who.
Don't have to.
Okay, you can. You guys,
how about his teammate?
LeBron?
No. How about not AD? You said Embiid. I'm thinking, how about his teammate, James Harden?
He's on the list. Harden's on the list.
You did say James Harden.
On the list. Harden's on the list. Yeah.
So, Embiid is one guy who I don't think that KD has anything to prove. I don't think that AD has anything to prove. James Harden. Jason Tatum, because of that not just that finals performance, his production did go down as the playoffs. He in addition to him, with the exception of him having some bad games, he also had some really good games too. So he was inconsistent in the playoffs, no doubt. So he's got to be more consistent. So he's got to prove that, right? So with the rest of those guys, Devin Booker's got something to prove in the playoffs too, because we can't just leave out this Phoenix team that just went to pieces last year. So I think that they have something to prove too. I don't think anybody in Milwaukee has anything to prove because they did the same thing.
Right.
They ended up winning the NBA championship and they did the same thing. But when I think about Embiid, like if they lose, it can't be because Embiid didn't go off. That can't happen. And if it does, then we're definitely gonna have a different conversation about him. And I think Julius Randle too, Tone, especially considering what you saw. What you saw from Julius Randle the last time he was in the playoffs and how bad he was, I think he's got to turn that around. I think he's got to change the narrative on that.
So right now we've got Randle, Jokic, Tatum, Harden, Embiid, and Bam. I'd say now that I look at the list again, Bam might need to come out too, only because not that he doesn't need to prove anything in the playoffs. Does anyone have any expectations on Bam?
I do.
I'll give you my reasoning on why I have Bam on there.
Okay. All right, tell me.
So he's been with Miami for a long time, right? Miami has come this close and is this close again to doing something. And I think he's a major piece. I think he is the second option, or should be the second option, backing Jimmy up, and then the rest of the players. And I think that if this season he does not step up and prove this is what my value is to this team, they're either going to move off of him or they're going to lose Jimmy Butler. That's what I think. And I think this is that season that he has so many talents and so many skills that he can be one of the best bigs in the league. But it's just sometimes he doesn't choose to do that, or I don't know. I just don't think he's, like you said, Fluent, he's lived up to all the expectations, but I think that he could. And so I guess for me, that's why I say.
Well, Jay's got him playing in the wrong position. So is that a problem?
I do. I have him.
He's playing him in the wrong position at the 5 when he should be a 4, right?
He should be a 4-man. Absolutely. He should be a 4-man. And then, in fact, a stretch 4. I think he would be much better suited at the 4, not just offensively, but defensively, too. I think he would be so much better there. But when you talk about the better players in the game, when do the better players in the game, how do they become the better players in the game? They make their names in the playoffs. Yeah. And they expand.
And that's why I said about Bam. I don't know that I have him on the list because I don't expect him to be.
Well, that's not good enough, Tone, because we're talking about a max player. Not only are we talking about a man, we're talking about a max player who's a 20-10 guy who's been in the NBA Finals, and he regressed last year, right? He regressed last year and the year before that. So we're talking about a guy in Bam who
on a list of crappy max players.
I would love a list of crappy max players, to be honest with you. But
Bam, I can't look it up. My internet's bad, but I'll get it for you.
What pick was Bam, Jay, in the draft?
He went in the middle of the first round. I think he went 14 in the middle of the first round.
Okay.
Maybe my expectations of Bam aren't as high as everybody else. I'm not saying he's bad because people are gonna say you're a hater. No, I don't think he's bad. I don't expect him to be great. I don't think he needs to prove his legacy in the playoffs because I don't expect him to be that guy.
Why though, Tone? I mean, we're talking about a guy who just 3 seasons ago was in the NBA championship. And
Butler.
Right, next to Jimmy Butler as the number 2. And he was a young guy. That was only year 3 for him. And then we get to this season where we got a 20-10 guy, Tone. 20-10 as a max player. We're looking at you as not just a good player. You're a cornerstone in our franchise.
Yeah.
This isn't the Miami Heat that's just comfortable at making the playoffs. These dudes really want to. I mean, they were just in the Eastern Conference Championship last year.
How much he making?
I mean, they got him at it. They got it. I'm 100% confident he's a max. He just signed a max deal, and this was like 3 years ago. So they don't have him as a super max player, but they signed him at the max contract.
He's making what? 8 money.
No, I think he's making. I think he's making. No, I think he's making more than 8.
Are you sure?
I think he's making.
You might have to look that up. I normally can look things up. I'm scared to right now based on what's going on today. Okay. But I feel like he's in the neighborhood of Ayton, and
no, he's making a lot more than Ayton. I think he's at the 150.
Mil.
Yeah, I was going to say the 150, 160.
So he's making 163 over what?
Yeah.
4 or 5?
4 years.
He's max,
yeah, 163 over 4. And Ayton's getting what, 130 something over 5 years?
133.
Over 5 or 4?
4, I think, right? I can look. I thought it was 4 year.
I'm confident it's a max deal. So whatever the max deal is.
I don't think the difference in money is that big between Ayton and Bam, but I think Bam is a much better player than Ayton.
So we're talking over $30 million. What do you mean that's not what's the difference between $170 million and $200 million? That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Those two things are not the same. Absolutely not. So a guy that's making 133 and a guy that's making 163, that's $30 million. That's 2 or 3 more players that we can sign with that $30 million. No way. And add that to the fact that if we sign him to a max deal, once again, he's a cornerstone to our franchise. And Bam has picked his game up this year, which means now when we get to the playoffs, it has to elevate even more.
Right.
So I think he does have something to prove this playoffs. I cannot look at Bam and go, well, I don't really have any expectations for you. When you're a max player on a team that went to the Eastern Conference Championship the year before, we expect things to go to another level the next year.
Yeah, I don't have those expectations for Bam. Maybe I don't expect him to be that guy.
Yeah. I just think more so
I would say this. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say more so for like what his value is to that team, and that team, what is it going to look like next season? Are they going to lose the pieces that they do have, or is it going to be disbanded? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I saw for him.
So from those, so for me, Bam, Embiid absolutely needs to play better in the playoffs than he has in the regular season, or we're going to start to question. Harden, even as a secondary guy, definitely needs to play in the playoffs, because that's been especially your knock against him. Tatum took his team to the NBA Finals last year, so I don't know how much he has to prove this year.
My thinking with him was not because of like he hasn't done it; it's more for his own resume and what people like. That was his weakness last season, is that he was inconsistent. I think if he can do that, even if they don't win the finals, like if they can get close, Eastern Conference Finals, but he plays good. My perspective on him is going to change. You can't, if your team messes up or they don't back you up, that's on them. But like, just for like me looking at Tatum, I think that would be really important for him.
Yeah, and you made your case for Randall, which made sense. But and then Jokic,
yes,
I think he's got the absolute most. Yes, like even if his team is to blame.
Yes,
if he doesn't go on a deep playoff run as the back-to-back MVP. Possible 3-time MVP, maybe even, if he doesn't win it this year, he's going to be second, right? So win second, and you can't get out of the second round.
I was going to ask you, Tone. How are we talking about if Embiid wins the league MVP this year and they get bounced in the semifinals? They don't lose; they get bounced in the semifinals. How are we talking about Embiid? Are we talking about him the same way we talking about Joker? If Joker wins the league MVP and he gets bounced in the semifinals.
Sorry, I thought you said I thought you said Joker. If Joker wins it for the third straight time,
let's start with Embiid. Embiid wins the league.
Embiid.
Let's start with Embiid. Embiid wins the league MVP.
He gets bounced in the second round.
They don't lose, Tone. They don't lose. They get bounced in like 5 games.
Okay.
How we talking about it? How we talking about Embiid?
How did Embiid play?
If they got bounced, he was garbage. I'm sure of it.
Okay, so now he's garbage. So now it's we start he's a regular season. We start who are the comparisons, man? Like I don't even know who
I'll go.
Is he
Aaron Rodgers?
Manning?
Aaron Rodgers.
Is that who he is?
He's Aaron Rodgers. He's Aaron Rodgers.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, he's or maybe like Wilt, right? Because Wilt's numbers went down in the playoffs significantly.
But they didn't. It wasn't because Wilt underperformed. Wilt changed his game, so that's completely different as opposed to underperforming.
I understand, but I don't know the context of him this year. Like you said, he's garbage. So is it that did they build a wall and he couldn't get through it?
I think garbage is the wrong word I want to use, Tone.
Oh, that's the word you use.
I think garbage isn't the word I want to use. He underperformed. That's the thing. That's what I'm thinking about with him. Because I think about a guy like Embiid who played the way he played, finished second in the league in MVP votes last year, and they basically got shoveled out of the playoffs last year by Miami.
But he was injured badly.
Right? He did get his face broken. Right? That did happen.
Painkillers.
Yes, he did get his face broken. Now this season, same logic. Okay, he's coming into the playoffs healthy, just like he came into the playoffs healthy last year. That's Embiid's mantra. A guy who's been injured over the course of his career. So are we going to keep using that, or is this going to be something?
Is he the center version of Steve Nash? Right, like just a really like a phenomenal regular season performer that just can't get it done in the playoffs. That's a bad like label to have put on you.
Here's what I think. I'm not going to go off what if. I'm going to go off what I've seen from Embiid this season. I'm going to go off him playing in the games that even Jokic is taking off. I'm going to go off the fact that he wants MVP, but more importantly, he wants a championship ring. So I'm going to go give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say he's going to play his ass off this playoff season. We're back.
I would love to see it. To be honest with you, H, I would love to see that. I would love it.
Yeah,
you know how I feel about the big man. You know how I feel about
we all love him. We all love Joel. We all want him to win MVP. But I guess what I'm going to say is that my thoughts, if he gets bounced in, let's say, the second round, okay, it's not as bad to me. And maybe this isn't fair. Maybe I'm biased, but it's not as bad to me as if Jokic does it, because Jokic and the Denver Nuggets are #1 seed. They've been great all season. They've been great seasons prior. Jokic has been on that team longer than Joel has been in Philly, right? Right. So he's had a longer tenure there, as well as the fact that he's been MVP twice in a row. And for the most part of the season was was supposed to be this year. So I think he has a lot more to prove. And if Embiid gets bounced, I mean, it's not a good look, but I'm going to say enjoy your MVP and come back next season. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Jokic. I'm so. Could you imagine if Jokic wins his 3rd straight MVP and gets bounced in the second round?
My God.
I can't.
Tone, to be honest with you, Tone, I'm being honest.
He'll actually ruin the MVP award. The MVP will mean nothing.
I do not. Of all the things I don't want to see in the NBA, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him lose, yo. I want to see him go deep into the playoffs because we're gonna have to talk about this. And the narrative is going to have to change. So, like, you can't talk to me about him and say Olajuwon. You can't talk to me about him and say Chamberlain. You can't do that. I don't want to see that from him. I don't.
Now, if he goes and wins, now we're having a conversation. Now we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
Wait, it's going off that because I know Joel is kind of like they're saying he's probably going to win. But what are you guys thinking? What are you? Where do you think the voters' heads are at right now? Because I know a lot of guys are waiting till the regular season's over. But do you think it's going to lean towards Joel for sure? Or are they just pushing that narrative?
I don't think that's exactly what they're doing, H. I think they're pushing the narrative. I don't think he wrapped it up with that performance. I don't think he wrapped it up because 2 nights before that, they got their lunch eaten by Milwaukee and Giannis went 34, 31, and 14, and they smoked them. So I don't think this thing is over. No, I do not. It's not a clear cut. The fact that Joker hasn't played in, I think, 3 of the last 4 games and they got smoked by Houston, I think there is now some separation between Embiid, Giannis, and Joker. It's minimal, but I do think that there is some separation, but I don't think he wrapped it up. No, I don't. I still think there's a legit race.
I agree. Fluent? You agree?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to do some super chats?
Let's do it.
Let's do some super chats.
All right. Assist. Thank you for your super chat. Fluent Chill get drafted into the NBA in 2023 at 20 years old. What's y'all's stat line? 35 minutes.
I get to play 35 minutes?
Yeah. Okay, well, first off, explain your game to everybody a little bit. Fluent, tell them about your game, and then Jay, because you play very different games.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'll tell it in my stat line.
Yeah.
So my stat line would be, so I play 35 minutes, which means I can get. Oh, I'm just doing the math.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hit 7. So I'll have like 21 points on 7 of 20 shooting. 7 of 18 shooting, something like that. 7 to 18 shooting.
How many of them 18 shots are long balls?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
All of them.
Okay.
Is that all you do?
I'm going 7 of 18 from deep, 21 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, and like 4 fouls. Every time I get on D, it was foul. Let's go.
Like
So if I'm coming out of college today, my focus is Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday. Those are the guys that I'm looking at, and I'm thinking to myself, if I can be that, I can play 10, 12 years. So I'm thinking that I could possibly be if I'm playing 35 minutes, I'm 20 years old, and in the game today, I'm probably a between 16 and 19 a game guy.
Yeah, see, this is what I don't like about people who know us. See, FIFA boy did his research and he knows I'm getting injured in my debut. You're probably getting injured in the layup line, and I don't play. But that's why I said if I get to play 30 minutes, that's why I was so excited. 35 minutes, I was so excited. But listen, I had a game. I'll tell you guys a funny story. I was playing for the Ontario All-Stars, so my province equivalent of your state, and I hated our setup. I hated our offense, and I didn't want to play. So I get out there. I want to say I'm in there for like 3 minutes and I get 4 fouls. And coach is like, dude, like I didn't even have time to pull you out. Like, what is like, I got like 5 fouls and you're out, right? And I'm like, I hate our offense. He goes, what do you want to do? I go, just stick me in the corner and let me shoot some threes. And he's like, really? I says, yeah, it's an all-star game. Like, who cares, right? So he goes, all right, fine. 6 straight threes in the second quarter. Nice. And he's like, and he pulls me out and he goes, dude, you're not passing. I'm like, no, I told you, stick me in the corner and let me shoot threes. And then I didn't play the second half because he's like, what are you gonna do if you go in the second half? I go, foul him and get fouled out so I can sit. I have no interest in
go.
It's your strategy. Hey,
I have a strategy. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm good at.
You told him.
It was look, not to get too deep into this. He had a player that played for him on his high school team that he coached, and he wanted to feature him in a 1-4 offense because there was scouts there, and he wanted to show him off so that he could get a scholarship. I already had my scholarship. I didn't need it, right? I was just doing it because, hey, I love playing ball. And I'm like, but I ain't going to like kill myself setting screens for this dude so that he can, go wherever he wants to go. I was like, hell, I ain't setting a screen. Get out of here. It's an all-star. No way. Nah, not happening. I'm not a very good team player, clearly.
That's why I always did individual sports. I was
I should
way too like
right. I should have played tennis or golf.
Chess. Okay, Khalil Young. In order, rank these past players from the 90s, 2000s based off who you think would be better in today's game. Mitch Richmond, Glenn Rice, Allen Houston, and Eddie Jones.
All right. This is a good one for chill, but let's go back. 90s, 2000s, rank them in order. Mitch Richmond, Glenn Rice, Allen Houston, Eddie Jones. That's actually a good one. Eddie Jones gets crazy underrated. And he's going to get a little bit underrated in my list right now. So I'm going to go with Mitch Richmond at the Richmond 1, Glenn Rice 2, Eddie Jones 3, Allen Houston 4. But Eddie Jones, crazy good Laker. Even though they drafted Kobe, same position, whatever. Eddie Jones, really underrated.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gone. So we'll go to the next one.
Yeah, we can ask him too when he comes back. Andrew G, what's good? He could sweep Sixers in a matchup, perfect schemes. And actually, Andrew, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. I mean, today, I don't know if it would be Philly, but I think Miami could give any team they match up with some trouble. That's why I said if Boston ends up matching up with Miami, it could be lights out for Boston in the first round. So, fingers crossed. I know, Fluent, you don't think Miami is going to do too much, right?
No, but anything's possible. Anything is possible. Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Rank these 4 players in order: Mitch Richmond, Eddie Jones, Allen Houston, Glenn Rice.
Sorry, Andrew. I gotta be real.
Mitch, Glenn Rice, Eddie Jones, Allen Houston.
This is the exact same order as me.
Yep. Identical. All right. Double P, off the dome. What's the last time you can recall a lopsided rivalry over a multiple season stretch like this LA one? Give me one other than LeBron Golden State.
None.
Yeah.
They own them. They own it. They own it. Tone, y'all haven't beaten them in almost 4 this season right here. We're going
11-0. You're telling me no team has beat another team 13, 14, 15 times in a row? I know that's not true. I know that's not true.
I take that back. I just thought about it. Memphis, the Boston Celtics own the Memphis Grid. I don't think Memphis has beaten Boston in like 7 years. I think they're like 14-0 against them, something like that.
Do you guys know, this is a random question, but do you guys know when in a finals matchup, what game does it end in most regularly? Like game 6, game 7, game 5? Do we know the stats? Most regularly?
Out
of all of NBA history, when has it ended? I guess early years, it was
my guess is probably 6.
6? Even in the early years?
Yeah, because they still played best of 7 in the finals. It was the earlier rounds that they played best of 5. Yeah, I'd probably say game 6 is the most common.
And we've only seen, in the last 50 years, how many teams have gotten swept? Okay, so how many teams have gotten swept? Okay, the Lakers got swept in 83. All right. They got swept again in 89. Let's see. Nobody got swept in the 90s. In the finals, right? Nobody got swept in the 2000s. That's not true.
2007, there was a sweep.
The Nets got swept.
Don't forget about that one.
The Nets got swept, and the Cavs got swept in the finals. Okay, so that's 2 there, right? And then in the 2010s, the Cavs got swept in 18. Nobody else got swept in the finals that decade.
No.
So that's 5. So
what was last year's?
And then last year that was 6 games with the Celtics.
6 games.
Yeah, 6 games with the Celtics. Right. So if we go back, you're 6.
Yeah.
I mean, I could run it down, but
no.
I was just a random, but okay. All right. Angie Carr confirmed Fluent is really AI Domo.
Yes, I am AI generated. That's actual.
Yeah, you do.
Man, if I was
you
AI,
could be an AI voice, honestly.
if they, maybe an AI voice. Okay, sure. I was gonna say if they made this face, they should have made it better. If it was AI, they could have got a lot better work. 95. What's 95? 95 was a sweep.
Sweep, yeah. Houston swept Orlando.
That's right, 95.
Yeah, that was the only one.
Spurs and Knicks in the strike year.
5 years. Five games.
5 games.
Yeah, 5 games.
Oh, why do they call that a gentleman sweep? I hate that. I don't like that term. It's either a sweep or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter, Cavs are the dark horse in the East. D-Mitch is one of the best playoff risers in the NBA, and they're built to top the Bucks and Sixers.
I just don't think that. I think that they're a year away, and to say that, I mean, like I said, if Tone says they're a year away, they're gonna end up in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, but I do think Cleveland matching up with Boston, I think that would go to a Game 7 for sure.
That's a dog fight. That's a 7-game dog fight. Yes,
I bet you the money line. For the gamblers in the house, Dub, I know you're listening. For the gamblers in the house, if I say they're a year away, it's a good chance they're going to the NBA final. Yeah. Put some money on because there's probably really good odds. You could probably put a very little bit of money on and win a bunch. And then I love that they'll cash you out. I love that they'll cash you out once they get there, so you can take your money and run because they're going to lose. All right, next one.
Notes, people. Foster
Eastern Conference Championship.
Agreed.
Wow.
Yep. This is the same unit that was in the Eastern Conference Championship last year.
You're not. Do you watch unit. Miami? Like I feel like
you don't.
Yes, I watch Miami.
Not only that, and Tone, you and I have had this conversation. Playoff buckets is a real thing.
Yes.
How much better he's gotten.
He's one of my favorite players. He's top 3 favorite players. I got Giannis, Ja, buckets. Those are my 3 favorite players.
Yes.
I don't think they can get out of the second round.
And
okay, fine. So I'll give them the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, okay, right. That's fair. All right, sure. That's the ceiling. Okay, you convinced me. I'm good.
Sports PSP, love the show. I gave y'all a shout out on IG and TikTok to watch the show. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And Prime Ewing or Embiid?
Ewing.
Yeah. For now.
Ewing was. How can I say this? It's going to sound rude. Ewing is stronger.
He was.
I think he's just built, even mentally, just different.
He was meaner too.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I'm looking for.
Meaner too. Better. I think he was a better interior defender. He was more consistent as a defender too. I think Joel Embiid had a little bit more offense to him, but I think the separator is with Ewing. I think he was meaner.
Yeah, I wish Embiid would do that a little bit. Not hurt people, but like just that little bit of
a little bit.
Yeah,
or just be a wall. I was watching that today. He was letting defenders slide around him and like Harden. I'm
he's more of a skilled guy, right? He's more of a skilled guy, but it's okay to be a little,
Yeah.
Embiid actually gives me Ewing vibes. What I mean when I say that is, like, he's awesome, just not good enough.
Yeah. Like, let me give you an example. So Ewing, Embiid, right? We want him to be meaner. And people are like, well, Embiid is more skilled and it's different. So Embiid is, if Embiid was meaner like Ewing, he could be Olajuwon. Because Olajuwon was uber skilled, but he had that toughness too. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he's missing. He's got the skill.
Yeah.
He needs that edge.
Yeah.
I guess for lack of a better term.
Too.
Yeah.
Angie Carr, Fluent sound like a response tech for OnStar.
Turn right now. Turn right now. Make the next legal U-turn now.
Yep. Double P, since both college basketball championships are over, I want to hear a memorable college basketball championship from you. For me, I loved 2016, even though I wanted UNC to win it. It was still a great game.
Oh, 1982, when Duke beat the Fab Five. I was a little more emotionally invested in that because Bobby Hurley is my guy. The fact that how they got there, that was probably the most memorable for me. Yeah.
90-something. I forget the year. University of Kentucky wins it. Tony Delk is most outstanding player for the tournament.
96.
96. And the summer before, I spend at the University of Kentucky with Tony Delk, your guy Roderick Rhodes, Shepard, like all like I'm there for the whole summer training with them, and that by far, because now I knew them, right? There was that emotional investment. It wasn't like, like when Worthy won it. Worthy was my favorite college player of all time. I tell everybody that all the time, right? Awesome at UNC, and UNC was my team. But when I actually got to have meals, right, go for a beer. Not that I did that because I was underage. Just hang out, play checkers, like those stuff with those guys for like that time period. Like Tony Delk gave me a nickname, and poke fun at each other. Like, so to see them win that year, that was like very emotional. So that's the one that I'll always remember. Not that I can remember the year, but that's my dementia kicking in.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Ray Powell.
You guys laugh, but there's gonna be a day I don't remember your name, and you'll be like, "Hey, Fluent."
Hey, Tone. Jay, what's up? Yeah, right here.
We'll introduce ourselves every time. It's okay. But I bet you that your NBA knowledge will always be there. It's not going anywhere. You won't remember our names, but you'll remember the
that's why I gotta take. That's why everyone asks me about the pencil. It's because I got to take notes, or I'll forget. Like you seen it today. Forget my train of thought. Have you ever seen that movie? What's it called? 40 First Dates.
Yes.
Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, which wakes up every morning and that's where I'm going. That's where I'm
reintroducing myself.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is All right.
Okay.
Are you waiting for me? We got a new one.
Yeah.
We good.
Ray Powell, I think whoever ends up with the 6th seed in the West smokes the Kings in 5 games in the first round. Lakers, Dubs, or even the T-Wolves causes
smokes them.
That's so. Bob, are you in the chat? Let him on. Let him have a piece of this.
Smokes the Kings. Wow. I'm not gonna go as far.
I'm not allowed.
No.
People are crazy. And here's my thing with people coming out of the West. All right, all of those teams, the Lakers, Warriors, and the Wolves are pretty. Maybe the Wolves are the best defensive team out of those 3. I'm not even sure, but they're not great. And so I think that the Kings are going to be all right against any of those teams because none of them play defense back. Like, it's just going to be a super offensively heavy game. I think if they got much further and had to face maybe like Denver or somebody coming out of the East, that's where they're going to get smoked. But I wouldn't say that. I think it's going to be close.
Could you imagine poor Ox and Kings fans? I'll say it. I told him I wouldn't pick on them anymore. But I'll just say this. They wait all these years, almost 2 decades, and they get bounced in the first round. Like, it's not even close. Like, smoke.
I told Ox, I better see him. I bet you that.
Oh yeah, he's gonna try and run.
I will come find you. Yes, I will. I will come find you.
We have to make sure he's good.
I will come look for you.
You can do health checks.
Drink more water. Take away the free throw attempts and you beat Philadelphia. Miami now and Milwaukee on Sunday have both done this and have blown Philly out. 10 attempts so far this game and 13 versus Milwaukee on Sunday.
That's how James Harden has always been. James Harden has been that way. Embiid has been that way. So that's their game, to get to the stripe. Now, if you limit fouling them and make those guys make plays, that's legit. That's absolutely legit.
Agreed. It's just you're probably not going to be able to do that. Eliminate that. That's 50% of Harden's game. Yeah.
It's easy to type it out. It's not as easy to do it in an actual game.
Yeah. Mass Fan 772 was watching 93 finals. What happened to Dumas? He was nice.
He had a drug problem. That was his problem. He was a super duper athlete and 6'8", could get up and down the floor with the best of them, could defend, but he had a drug problem. That was his problem.
It happens.
Good old 90s. All right, Double P. Rank these head coaches best to worst. Jay Kidd, Luke Walton, and Mike Budenholzer.
Well, let's all just laugh away Luke Walton, and then actually
Coach Bud goes to the top. Coach Bud goes to the top.
Bud goes to the top. He won an NBA championship.
He won an NBA championship. Luke Walton won an NBA championship as an assistant, and he stepped in for Steve Kerr for quite a while. Yeah. But if you look at that Warriors team, it was basically just move over from this seat in the Ferrari to the driver's seat, and you ain't really got to do much.
No,
it's like Bill Russell coaching the Celtics. Like, it wasn't a lot of work.
But I'd argue that for Mike. Like, I don't know. I feel like he's just doesn't he seem like just a dad that, he drinks beer on the weekends? Like, he just seems so down to earth, and he doesn't he'll get mad, but he doesn't really talk to the guys. He just gives them a pat on the back. But I'm sure he's a great coach.
Come on, Giannis, you got to rebound a little bit more there. Come on,
hey,
fella.
I feel like he's
Giannis,
just
what you just described? Remember the water boy, where Henry Winkler is the coach, and he's like, "Hey, can you go get me the ball?" Yeah, okay, I'll go get.
Yeah, that's literally. I don't know. We don't get to see him in the locker room, obviously, or at practice. But I like J Kidd. I know he's getting a lot of hate right now. I'm biased because I really, really like J Kidd. I think they need to give him another season just to see what he can do.
Yeah. And for the record, Bill Russell coaching that team was way more difficult than you give him credit for, Tom, because a lot of players don't comprehend the game like they do in terms of coaching. It was way more difficult than you give him credit for.
I meant in the sense that he was the leader of a team that had 5 Hall of Famers on it, and so they already listened to him anyways. So I understand what you're saying, but it was more like they didn't even need a coach. Whereas that's why sometimes when people say Kerr's a great coach, I go, was he though? Because Luke Walton stepped in and there's no problem. That team was just so good.
Steve is a better coach than people give him credit for.
Yes, he is. He is.
I understand where you're coming from.
Now,
a lot of people agree.
I think he's more of a manager, like Phil Jackson was, than he is a coach.
Agreed. Very much
he's more
like
of
him.
that.
Yeah. Double P rank. Oh, my bad. Lance Mansfield. Why would they fire Kidd after having a top 5 to 7 coming off of the Western Conference Finals? It's not Kidd's fault. Cuban didn't give him the personnel this season, which is a great question. I heard Skip talking about it today. I don't know why I keep referencing him because don't take it seriously, but I was been watching Undisputed. But basically he said he's never like Mark Cuban. He thought he was kind of like a snake. What do you guys think of that? Do you guys like Mark, and do you think he does a good job as a owner?
Well, 2 things. Number one, I watched Dwayne Casey get fired after his team won 59 games, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
True.
But for him to get for the Dallas Mavericks. Number 2, I would much rather see Mark Cuban actually admit when he was wrong than to just fire a guy. And I know that's good luck with that. I mean, to let Brunson walk out the front door. Right, because and then try to blame it on his parents when all he had to do was just pay him. That's all he had to do. This had nothing to do with his parents.
He said he had no chance. He didn't even have a chance to sign him.
That's not true.
He said there was no. Did. Yeah, he said there was no opportunity or something.
The reason why that's not true is because you could pay him the most. So because you could pay him the most, at minimum they got to listen to you. That's number 1. Number 2, you let Steve Nash walk out the front door too. So with letting Steve Nash walk out the front door, at some level, you got to at least admit that, you know what, I kind of screwed up a couple things. So you can't get this wrong. You got to bolster that roster defensively. That's all you have to do. I think that I don't think that this thing is that bad, and I don't think it's J Kidd's fault. I don't.
It's not. And what is J Kidd going to do better than and probably most coaches is he's going to help on defense. He has an eye for that, and I think he can set him up for success in that aspect. But they just like Lance said, they don't have the personnel.
When your team fails, do they get a new owner, a new general manager, new players, or a new coach? Which is the first thing that happens?
New coach. That's always the case. So you have a team that made it to the Western Conference Final and then misses the play-in. The coach is getting fired. Period. Now, you can blame whoever you want to blame, but that's what's happening. I was just going through a conversation today about the Spurs, and they were trying to give Dennis Rodman credit for taking, he said, a 40-plus team to a 50 to a 60-plus team. And I went, hold on. It was a 49-win team, and it went to 55 and then 62. And the year that they won 62 games, he only started 26 of those. So I don't think it was Dennis Rodman that made the difference. By the way, the 62-win team brought in Sean Elliott. Point of the story was they won 49 games. Halfway through the season, they were underachieving. They fired the coach. They brought in John Lucas. So they win 49 games. The next year, they win 55. That's still not good enough. They fire John Lucas and bring in Bob Hill, who wins 62 games. Well, Bob Hill doesn't last that long. It eventually becomes Pop. So every time, it doesn't even matter. If you have an expectation of winning an NBA championship and you don't make it to the finals,
They're firing the coach because what else can you do? I'm not saying it's correct. I'm saying that's just what the NBA has done.
They're more than likely to overhaul a coach than the players.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do that. So I think
they already did that with the roster. Sure.
Yeah, and so they already overhauled the roster. They're going to make more changes. I guarantee you the Mavs are going to be very active this offseason. And I think I'd be surprised if Jay Kidd is still there to start the season. But if he does start the season and they don't start off fast, he might be
short. Yeah, the hook might be quick. Yeah, you might get a quick hook.
Speaking of coaches, I've heard some people, talking about like Joe Mazzulla for Boston. Thoughts on him? Do you think he's done a good job, or do you think he's been there? The respect and all that hasn't been there for Boston, and will that play into the playoffs? Do you guys think?
That is the reason why I have Philly and the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Final. It's because I think he's going to get out coached. I really, really believe they thought Ime Udoka, they're going to figure it out and have him come back, and he was just temporary. And then when obviously more stuff came out and they didn't do that, and they just made him the full-time coach. But I see him getting out coached a lot.
I don't hate the hire. I think that they're in the same spot that they was in last year. I mean, when they had Ime, I think when they had Coach Udoka, they ended up turning it on late in the season. Well, this team right here hasn't done that, and they got a similar philosophy that Ime Udoka had. I think that Coach Mazzulla struggles with adjustments, and I think that could come back to bite him in the playoffs. I am worried about that.
But Ime did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was a good coach. I mean,
now here's the thing: we never got to see the follow-up for Ime Udoka, right? Like he takes them to the finals, and now teams have a lot of tape on him and what he does and his tendencies, and they get to adjust. And so there's a lot of coaches that make the NBA final, and then next year they don't. Heck, they don't even make the playoffs because people start to figure out what they're doing. We never got to see that, so he's probably even held in even higher regard, and not falsely, but I think he's held in higher regard because we didn't get to see how does he adjust now that people know what he's doing. So,
which I was looking forward to, Tone. I was looking forward to that this season.
I think I could have had Boston. I still think they could make the finals this season, but I think it would have been a higher likelihood if Ime was still there.
You're still there, yeah.
Yeah, but who knows? Angie Carr, Fluent, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, and I won't get fooled again. G-Dub.
Yes. Was Jordan. That was it. Absolutely. Fool me one time. There's a saying in Texas. It might be in Mississippi too. It's fool me one time. Listen. You just won't fool me again. That was his that was his rant, dude. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. I love George. It's hilarious.
I remember just watching that dude really quickly. I remember watching that dude and in some of his campaigns. I remember him saying, "What does Al Gore think Social Security is? Some sort of federal plan?" I was like, "Oh my God, this dude is must see TV, no doubt about it."
That was number one.
Yes. No,
yeah.
Didn't he incorrectly correct the kid on how to spell potato too or something?
Oh my God. I was like,
serious?
This dude is must see TV.
Yeah,
Every time he get in front of a mic,
you guys missed out.
Front of the TV watching.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You should just YouTube like when you're on Player's Choice, YouTube watching Bush shows, just search Bush-isms or one of those like George Bush.
Al Gore think Social Security is some sort of federal plan? That's exactly what it is, George. What are you talking about?
Well, he was trying not to make one.
This is like on national TV.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He's lucky there was no internet. That would have been a meme for sure.
Oh yeah. Deco, last season during the playoffs, Dubs only lost one home game, and that was in the finals.
There you correct. Go. Yeah, there you go.
Really? Wow.
See? There you go. That's what they're going to have to do.
So long ago. Yes, they do. And they need to win these next two road games, but yeah. Angie Carr, with the influx of injuries and load management being commonplace, thoughts on going back to the best of 5 or even 3
Angie, no, I hate that.
Why?
And the reason why I hate it is because when you shorten a series, what you do is you give a lesser team an opportunity to possibly win.
That's
as opposed to a 7 games. I've said this to you in the past, H. Pro basketball, pro baseball, and pro basketball, pro baseball, and pro hockey are the only sports that have an undisputed heavyweight champ. Anybody can beat anybody one time. If I beat you 4 times, I'm better than you. Period.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to answer your question. You ready? Did you hear that?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
why.
why.
I don't know.
They're not going to miss out.
7 games is way better.
They are not going to miss out. They are not going to miss out. They are not going to miss out on 2 extra games because the amount of money they make in the playoffs is it's not the new one.
Mass fans 772 top 5 scorers of all time, international only.
Now, before you answer this question, H, look at who is this again?
I know what he's asking for.
So
I know what he wants.
We already know where you're going with this.
Dirk.
Dirk number 2.
Yeah, we already know where you're going with this. So,
Manu. Oh, that's the Spurs. Hold on, who's also the Mavs?
Yeah, we already know where you're going with this. So.
Yeah, we see you.
Drazen Petrovic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just while I have everybody here, we might have time. We have another quick game. We might have time today to bring you guys on. So there's a new thing that we're gonna do. If we do have time to do it, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. You will come on. When you come on, you will go to the private chat and you will put in what you're going to talk about, what your topic is, and then so that we're prepped, we can bring you in and say, okay, you want to talk about Bob? Tell us about Bob. So because we gotta keep it quick. If you don't say anything in the chat, you will not be brought in. All right. But we still got this.
Sharky HD, as a Mavs fan, Luka's minutes have to change. He plays the full first and third quarters. Does any other star in the league do this? Leaves him gas in the fourth. I think Tatum actually does that.
And Sharky, just so you know, that's what the off season is for. That's why these guys work out in the off season, so they can get in shape, so they can play pro basketball, because that's what they are. Stop with the Luka lead the league? I'm not trying to hear that.
Does he lead the league in minutes per game?
I think so. I think it's like something like 30, 39 or close to 40 minutes a game. So what? Well, you can rest in the offseason. You can get healed up in the offseason. Tone, you didn't have a problem with it when Jordan was doing it. You didn't have a problem with it when Magic was playing 37, 38 minutes. You did not have a problem when he was doing it.
Jordan would come out at the start of the fourth quarter and come back with about 6 minutes left or whatever.
More like 8
to 6 minutes, depending on how the game was. Right? Like, the Bulls had a very system where third quarter, we're going to dominate you and have a big lead. That's what I remember all through. Is the third quarter, they would kill you. Right. And then 6 to 8 minutes, he would come back. There's no reason why, if they're not doing that with Luka, they shouldn't do that with Luka. And listen, if he's not in the best of shape, they should probably fix that.
Plus,
he should.
Plus, with him being gassed, is he gassed on offense? Because he damn sure ain't doing nothing on defense.
There we go.
Don't make it sound like he's gassed because he's busting his ass on both ends. I know you watch Luka in transition.
As someone who appreciates an offensive only game, let me just say it is very tiring to play offense.
Rolo 555, better overall, 95 David Robinson or 23 Giannis?
2023, that's this year Giannis or 95 David Robinson?
Right. Yeah.
Giannis. I think Giannis is better. And that's not to disrespect David Robinson, but
was he the best player in the world in 95?
He won the league MVP that year.
He wasn't. But to answer your question, no, he wasn't the best player in the world.
He won the league MVP that year, but he was in the conversation to be the best player on the planet. No doubt about that. He was.
Yeah.
Very David Robinson, very underrated. But
yeah,
I'm taking Giannis.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
You haven't made your pick yet. Ooh.
That's what I'm saying, because I'm thinking 23 Giannis. Is 23 Giannis better than 95 David Robinson?
I would say 22 Giannis was better than 23.
I don't think
Giannis is better than 23 Giannis.
So maybe
he led the league in scoring the year. David Robinson led the league in scoring the year before. He finished second in defensive player of the year that year. Won the league MVP. Don't get me wrong, he got dominated by Olajuwon in the playoffs in the West Finals, but I think I'm taking Giannis. I think I'm gonna take David Robinson. I do.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take David Robinson.
No shame in that.
No. Sports PSP. How good was Chris Webber back in Michigan?
He was the best player in the country. Period. And sports, I could go into
in college basketball, like non-professional player in the world for the everything but the last 5 seconds of one game.
Yeah, he was the best player in the country, no doubt about it. He coming into that second season after his freshman year when they lost in the championship to Duke, coming into that season, he was the consensus best player in the country. And he proved it the entire season. He was the best player in the country, no doubt about it. Money mid-range game. The problem with Chris Webber was when the lights got brighter, he folded.
There's some mental mistakes, yeah, for
sure.
That's
who he was.
All right, with the NBA releasing the 90s finals, I'm seeing a lot of people calling into question the 90s defense. Is it wrong to look back at 90s type of defense with a modern eye? What are your thoughts?
That's exactly why it's wrong to look at 90s, because they don't play that fast. Not only do they not play that fast, they don't play as loose. The game was a big man game. The game was more rugged. Not only was the game more rugged, it was slower. So with the game being as fast as it is,
for the record, it was on purpose.
Right, on purpose. So the game was slower. It was more rugged. So you got guys who do stretch the defense, but that wasn't the game plan. So if Isaiah Thomas wanted to crack the long ball all night like Steph Curry, that would have screwed them up, right? That would have screwed up Orlando if Penny Hardaway wanted to shoot the long ball, because the game was ran through Shaq. We had to wait for Shaq to come down. And not only did they have to wait for Shaq to come down, the interior defense was a lot more rougher. So I think that looking at the game through that kind of lens, I think it's unfair.
I'll also say that, how can I put this nicely? The finals isn't always the best basketball. As crazy as that sounds, it's not always the best basketball. So what I've seen, because I've seen a lot of people breaking it down, and they're doing their they're doing a shtick. They're trying to make people laugh, and they're like, "Oh, look at this defense! Look, he's wide open. That would have been a 3. That should have been a 3." Yeah, that's because today, if you have the ball, you're going to shoot it right away without even thinking. But like I was watching one. I forget who was doing it, and like Horace Grant gets the ball at the top of the key, right? And the guy's like 5 feet off of him, and they're like, "Well, why doesn't he just shoot a step back 3?" I'm like, because it's Horace Grant. That's not his game, and that's not the Bulls' game. That they run a very, very tight triangle offense, which it's it's get a layup, right? Get a layup or a wide open mid range shot. That was the philosophy. So yeah, they're going to leave guys open out on the perimeter outside of the 3-point line because they don't expect them to shoot, because they're only shooting 5-6 a game. So yes, it's going to look, because you're looking at it today and being like, there's 10 guys who've had the ball outside the 3-point line. Why did no one shoot it? Well, because if they shot it, they'd be sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
So
which made the Bulls way more effective, because Horace Grant had a money mid-range game. So that made the Bulls way more effective.
So yeah, so it's tough because it's gonna look bad. Just like today's NBA, you in 20 years, or go back, if you show 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I guess it is now, the 90s, show players then this game, they'll be like, what are they doing? They're not even trying. They're missing layups and they're shooting threes and missing, right? And then again, go 30 years forward and they'll say, what the heck were they doing? I'm sure the game will change again. So interesting.
Ray Powell, Chill Town. Yes, the Kings gets walked down by either one of those teams. They play zero defense. Lakers, Warriors, or T-Wolves smokes them in 5.
Smokes them. Yikes. I don't know if they smoked them, my man. I think you're putting a lot on that, my man. I don't think they smoked them. No, I don't. Just because their offense is so good, I don't think they get smoked.
I'm with you, Ray. Smoked.
Sharky HD. Obviously, he needs to be better conditioning. Luka, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Angie Carr, Chill better not pick Robinson after what he did to Shaq.
What did he do to Shaq?
What did Robinson do to Shaq? I don't know
what did Robinson do to Shaq. Did he punch Shaq or something?
I don't know what he
did. Him and Shaq in a fight? We don't know. Angie, tell us.
Yeah, I don't know what he did to Shaq.
Mousefin772, watch golf at all? If so, who's winning the Masters?
When Tiger stopped playing, I stopped. I don't know. I didn't know much about golf, Tone, but when Tiger was in it, I just felt like I needed to watch it because he was in it.
Isn't he in it this season?
He
or whatever. The Masters.
But Tiger in it now. That's what. But Tiger in it now. This is Washington Wizards Jordan. That's that's in the Masters. This isn't Chicago Bulls early '90 Jordan. That's in the Masters. No.
PC golf cooking soon. FIFA boy said. Sports PSP. which player you had to pick, Zion or Simmons? Zion for me.
Zion.
I'm picking Zion because he's making less money.
And I
can
think
you believe can you believe Ben Simmons made an All NBA team?
Tone, he was really good, man. Let's not do that with Ben Simmons.
No.
He was really good.
He was great. That's why it's
seeing who he is now, and it's only what, year 6?
Not only did he make the All NBA, not only did he make the All NBA team, he made the All League defensive team too.
I know, but that's where I was going, is seeing where he is now. It wasn't that long ago where he was an All NBA player. Like, isn't that nuts?
But the difference is I think that Zion actually loves the game. I don't think Simmons ever loved the game. I think he played because he was good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Reminder to anybody, I put the link in the chat. I will do it again. When you come in, post what you want to talk about in the chat, in the private chat. Just say, I want to talk about this. And then once you've done that, we will bring you on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shane Howard, build me your guy's best player. Handles and ball control, shooting, finishing, speed, passing, defense, height. So, okay, we'll start with handles. We'll build a group one. Okay,
collective?
So for clip handles and ball control. Who are we taking? Like
Kyrie. I'll take Kyrie.
Probably the best. Yeah.
Curve.
Shooting.
Curry.
Yes. Yeah. Finishing.
Where at the rim?
Giannis.
Yeah.
Jordan. All right, we'll take Giannis. Sure, let's take Giannis. I'm wearing Milwaukee green. Let's go Giannis.
Okay. Speed.
Russell Westbrook.
Ooh.
I was gonna say, isn't De'Aaron Fox faster than him? But okay, yeah, Russ is fine. Russ only. No, you know what? Maybe I want to go with somebody else because Russ only has 100 miles an hour. He doesn't know how to go 60.
But if he has all these things with that,
okay, yeah, fine. All right, fine. Okay, yeah, Russ.
Okay, passing. Who do we like all time?
Magic.
Stockton. Oh, Magic. I'm sorry.
Magic.
Okay, defense.
Magic.
Dennis Rodman. I'm sorry, Elijah.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Yeah, we'll take Elijah. Yeah, I'll take Elijah. Yeah.
And then height. We want something like LeBron's height. We want a good like 6'6".
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
6'9".
About a 6'8", 6'9" guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. All right,
that's what I'm thinking.
That's our player, Shane.
Rated on
a scale of 1 to 10.
Love it.
All right, that's our last one.
No, they're still coming in, but we'll bring some people on because they're waiting. But here, this is our last one that's on there right now.
I can still hear you.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, Hailey.
Reggie, chill. 96 Bulls versus any LeBron team. Who you got?
96 Bulls against any LeBron team. That's
against anyone.
You're gonna have to give me a second with that one. Against any LeBron team, the 96 Bulls against the 2016 Cavs, or the 2013 Heat.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the 2013 Heat
over the Cavs.
Yes, I'm gonna take the 2013 Heat.
All right, there you go.
There we go.
No, that's for chill. So Sebastian wants to know. Here's Sebastian. Hello, Sebastian. How are you?
Hey guys.
He wants to know, guys, if you can match up. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, you can say it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I wanted to match up these two teams because they're so great, right? But they never get the respect that they deserve, and they won back-to-back chips. If we could hypothetically match up the 89-90 Pistons with the 94-95 Rockets, who do you got and why?
So the question, so what he put in the chat was, if you could match up two of the most underrated teams ever in a best-of-7 NBA Finals, right? So your matchup is who?
The Detroit Pistons versus the Houston Rockets.
Which year?
Let's go 89 Pistons and 95 Rockets.
89 Pistons, 95 Rockets. Who you got?
That 95 Rockets team, they were on a roll and they were battle tested. Don't get me wrong, that Pistons team, as tough as they were defensively, they might be the best. You can argue that they could the best defensive team in NBA history, but the Houston Rockets had, I think, the best defensive player in NBA history, and they had arguably one of the best offensive players in NBA history. And the way that they was rolling with their consummate role players, I think that Rockets team beats them. It's going to be hard to beat them, but I think that Rockets team beats them.
I'm going to have to ask you a follow-up question before I can answer. Are we playing 95 rules or 89 rules?
Let's go.
Why is that different? Rules. Because in 1990, the flagrant foul came in. So if you have the flagrant foul rule, I'll take the 95 Rockets. If not, I'll take the 89 Pistons because they're gonna hammer Olajuwon, and I don't like the other pieces around him as much as I like the collective of the Pistons.
I was thinking this through, right? So what's it called? The point guard for the Rockets was Kenny Smith, right?
Yeah.
Kenny.
Is he really guarding prime IT?
I don't think it's not like it's not like I think you looking at it. I think you looking at it from an aspect of today's game. Isaiah Thomas averaged like 16, 17 a game. It wasn't like he was destroying
18.6.
Yeah, so he averaged 18 a game. Now don't get me wrong. I think in those NBA finals in 89, I think it was Joe Dumas. Joe Dumas averaged like 27 a game. Yeah. So I think that Mario Ellie.
And that's what I mean. That 89 team, right? That was the
But Vernon Max wouldn't. Not Vernon.
Was it the Adrian Danley team or the year after Adrian Danley?
He got traded that year.
Is that year? Okay, so it's the other.
He got traded that year. If you gave me the team before that, I mean, I think that Joe Dumas would have a difficult time with Clyde Drexler. And this is an older Clyde Drexler. I think he'd have a difficult time with him, but I think he could hold his own. I'm looking at Kenny Smith.
Rodman Olajuwon would be an interesting.
I was going to tell you that.
That'd be an interesting matchup.
Rodman and Embiid versus Olajuwon, and I think they beat Clyde in the '90 finals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They did. All right. For those that are waiting, all right. Thanks, Sebastian, man. Appreciate it, brother.
Sorry.
For those that are waiting sorry about FAU. For those that are waiting, send us your topic in the private chat. All right, I know Sports PSP, so I'm just going to bring him on.
What up?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Just so you know, the rule is you got to put what you want to talk about in the private chat. But
what up?
We know you, so it's okay.
I just mentioned it on the chat. Ben or Zion? I think I'd rather have to take Zion. I don't know if Ben Simmons wants to play basketball anymore, given his recent production, and it seems like it's over for him. Either that or go to the Shanghai Sharks.
Shanghai Sharks just take everybody.
I just don't know if he loves the game. And to be honest with you, it's not that I don't know if he loves the game. I don't know if he ever loved the game. That's the difference. I don't think that he kind of lost. Like I heard Kevin Garnett say something like, you got to get back to when you was loving the game. I don't know if he ever loved it.
I just think he loved it because of what it could benefit for him.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Money, life.
I think
that's a good point.
You know who he reminds me of? And hear me out. He reminds me of how I think about Kawhi Leonard. I don't think Kawhi Leonard loves basketball. I think Kawhi Leonard's just really, 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 really good at basketball. And he's like, so I'm just going to do it because I'm great at it. And that's when we talked about. And then when it's over, he's going to have no problem. Some people have trouble retiring and walking away. Yeah, he's going to have no problem. And just be like, all right, cool. And go.
That's why I asked you, Tone. That's why I was asking.
That's the feeling I guess.
Does he just disappear? Like, does he just fall off the planet? Like,
yeah, he definitely does.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because you have a lot of players who hang on too long and come back and then. And it's just like, because it's hard, right? You miss the camaraderie, you miss, the guys and, the all the stuff that goes along with being part of a team. And then you end up home and you're just like, all right, what am I doing? What do I do now? Yeah, what do I do now? So I think he'll transition well, which is unfortunate because Ben Simmons, if he worked on his game, man, he could have been something special.
That's why I think Zion
has a chance to, but I just don't think he'll do it.
I think Zion actually loves the game. I can tell. He looks like he loves the game. It's just that his body is continuously failing him. Yeah, I think his body is continuously failing him. That's the difference.
Do you think that Zion, since you asked the question, do you think that Zion is going to be able to come back at all and ever play like a full season and make that Pelicans team?
For me, I would shut Zion down for the remainder of the season. We're done. Yeah. I'm not going to put his health in further jeopardy. shut him down for the rest of the season, make sure he gets ready to go for 2023, 2024. Zion, the one problem, the concern I had was his weight. There's no way a dude 280, 290 at his height is going to last that long in the NBA. I just don't see a long career in the NBA. Ben Simmons, on the other hand, look, I understand he's got mental health issues, and he hasn't been the same since that Atlanta series. It just looks like he's scared. I mean, it looks like he's scared to shoot the basketball. And guys who were traded, like Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, they have been great for that squad, especially Mikal Bridges. If the season was early, Mikal Bridges would be an all-star.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Sweet.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Take it easy.
Sports, my man.
Have a
Good to
good
talk
night.
to you. No doubt.
Next up, we got your boy, Goat James, who wants to talk about the Lakers.
Hey, what's up? Hey, man. Look, what's going on? Okay, so the Sacramento Warriors game is huge because if the Warriors, they win that game, and I think the Suns are going to probably sit their players. I think they're going to sit their players.
Makes sense. Yeah.
They can still get that 6 seed, and
that wouldn't.
And I feel, man, I think that second half, bro, I think he got a little in him right now. I feel if you give him a 7-game series, I think they're gonna make. I'm calling it right now. Hot take, but I think it's gonna happen.
You kind of went in and out.
Yeah, you cut out.
You had
Right
Mike
before
in
game
there.
7, let us tell us what you said.
Can you hear me?
Try one more time.
Yeah. Try it one more time.
Okay, cool. What I said was I liked the dog LeBron showed in that second half, and I think if you get him in a 7-game series, I feel like he's hungry. I feel like he wants to prove himself, and I feel like if AD stays healthy, with the West wide open this year, I don't see why they can't go. I don't see why they can't go to the finals. I really don't.
Thank you.
Besides people drinking Haterade, I haven't heard one logical reason why they can't do it.
Because I don't think that Anthony Davis is going to hold up. That's the only reason why. It has nothing to do with his game. It has nothing to do with his performance and him underperforming or anything like that. I just don't think he's going to hold up.
Yeah.
That's it.
We got 1 minute. We got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes left. So go, James. Thank you. I agree with you. Ray Powell wants to talk about why the Wolves, Lakers, or Warriors smoke the Kings.
Let's hear this.
Okay.
Why the Wolves, Lakers, or Warriors smoke the Kings? Ray, you there, Ray? I see your ceiling.
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You good?
What's going on, Chill Town?
What up?
So this is why I feel like the especially the Wolves. The Wolves, they played them 4 times. They beat them 3 times already.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at teams with the best defensive ratings in the NBA. The Wolves are 10th. The Lakers are 12th. So I think in the playoffs, when the game slows down and stuff, I think Jaden McDaniels or Anthony Edwards, I think they completely take De'Aaron Fox out of the series. Why are you shaking your head, Jill?
I'm not buying that.
He disagrees. All right, we got 1 minute left, so I'm gonna knock you out, but let's listen to Chill. Why do you disagree with that, Chill?
Well, because when you get into the playoffs, I understand that the game slows down, but the game also gets faster too. Even though it does slow down, it can get faster because if you're a good team, teams don't completely take you out of what you do. And the Sacramento Kings are a team that plays fast. And not only do they play fast, they got one of the best clutch guards in the game in De'Aaron Fox. So to completely shut him down, who Mike Conley's going to shut him down, Jaden McDaniels is going to shut him down. No, I'm not trying to hear that. I don't see that.
All right. Angie Carter says, Kawhi going to retire to the hollow earth with Dave.
Angie, this isn't nonsense. I'm trying to tell you. I was thinking about this earlier. Like, yo, is Leonard, when he retires, is he just gonna disappear? Like he never existed?
If I may, I have an idea. I know we've lost about 100 people, but I have an idea. I want to start a GoFundMe page. You guys tell me if this is a good idea. I want to start a GoFundMe page to send because I know exactly how much money it'll take. Start a GoFundMe page to send Flat Earth Dave into space to see for himself.
Oh,
what do you think?
No.
He doesn't want to be convinced. This is
No, he
his
doesn't.
livelihood. Like,
Hey,
this
he
is
already
his
on the hook.
livelihood.
This is what he think it is.
He knows
no,
he can
if
make
he
that.
wants the truth, if he wants the truth.
Nah,
Yeah,
he
no.
doesn't want
No.
the truth.
No, he doesn't,
When-
Tone.
No.
All right, listen, for fear, listen, I got one more super chat, and then I'm going to bring on SB Talk Sports because I think he's going to put one of us in the book,
Okay.
and then we're gonna say goodnight. So, Angie with another one.
Okay, so this is the explanation. Shaq saying he didn't sign an autograph for him as a kid to get him riled up to bust David's behind on the court. Your cousin is psychotic.
Oh, okay.
Angie, he made that story up. That never happened.
Yeah, and let me just that is not true, Angie. And let me just say this: Bob Ox, who with the dim beam is at an art gallery and he's ducking that smoke. Okay, thank you for
Come
coming in
on,
the chat.
Bobby.
You ducking
You
that
gotta
smoke,
defend yourself.
ducking that smoke.
Here we
Put
go.
out that. Put out
Here
that.
we
beat.
go.
I know.
Who's in the book?
Hi.
Who's in the book?
He's putting it on. So look,
Who's in the book?
Story. And I'm glad that Fluent is here to hear this because look, I've been on this. This is day 3 now, right? Day 3. This day 3.
Yes.
I've been on a try to convince OG to put Kobe in his top 10. Right.
This has been an intervention.
good
No,
luck.
this has been an intervention for like the last.
Yes.
Like
We call,
this is not him convincing. This is an
But
intervention that we doing.
I call him up to something. So let's catch Fluent and Hailey up the par. So what I found out is on the first day. The reason why OG don't have Kobe, he finna laugh when I say this because he know it's true. The reason why he have Kobe outside his top 10 to protect this top 10 to gatekeep it. So when I be like, is Curry, is this, they be like, OG, is Curry top 10? First thing you say, is he better than Kobe? Is KD top 10? Is he better than Kobe? So he using Kobe to gate.
Actually, when he brought this to me, I was like, damn, I didn't think about that. That actually makes a lot of
First thing
sense.
you say when you say that.
Oh,
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Well,
I never thought about that. But
let
that
him
does
be your
make a lot of
gatekeeper
sense.
because then everybody else is 11 or later.
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Because how can you put him over Kobe?
You can't.
The majority of people got Kobe top 5. So if he got him outside his top 10, it's just protecting his top 10.
You know what? For 2 years I've been trying.
That's one.
Didn't even think of it.
When he said that, I was like,
code.
wow.
He got you
cracked
there.
the code.
That does make a lot of sense.
So wait, so he ain't fold yet. I'm cracking. That was the first hit though. So I'm cracking the arm. So I'm trying to think what I hit you with last time. I was talking about the scoring or him being the dominant person in his position. I'm trying to think what I can hit you with this time today. But see now I got Fluent and Hailey knowing this. So now when you cap about Kobe, they gonna hit you with it. So look, I'm adding to the army. We gonna get you. You putting Kobe in your top 10.
As a team, we can do
As
something.
a team, it's
we can
coming.
do this. Yeah.
Because look, and then also,
This is incredible.
I love it.
I'm
trying to think of a trade. I'm like, if I move this person here, we can move Kobe
right,
there.
you're right. That's what I was
He's
doing.
the best. Yeah.
So wait,
But the problem is, I know what he's going to ask for, and I'm never going to do that.
nah, yeah, he ain't. What he gonna
He'd
ask?
be like, what he'll ask for is if I move LeBron 1, Jordan 2, he'll move Kobe wherever. And I ain't doing
Yeah. You'll never do that.
Nah, I don't know LeBron one either.
Or if I got to move Kobe into my top 10, I got to take Magic out, and I know he ain't agreeing to that.
Oh no,
I already know
you
that.
can't do that.
See, I already know he ain't agreeing to
Take
that.
Hakeem or Walton.
So
Hakeem or Will.
Yeah, I feel like
Yo, take Shaq out.
He ain't gonna do that. Shaq could kill him.
Ah, take Shaq out. Take Shaq out.
But
Shaq
still
already
here-
said he doesn't want to be. Shaq already said he doesn't want to be. Right? Hold on. Shaq told us. Shaq told us right here on this show. Shaq told us.
He took the gloves off.
I'm not the best. I'm not in that conversation for best player ever. I want to be the most dominant. So move him to 11. Bring Kobe in, and we call him. And but the trade is we call Shaq the most dominant player ever. Number 1. There you go. Everybody gets what they want.
how can we have the most
Everybody gets what
dominant
they want.
player ever who's in his
At
own
number
category?
11.
And he's not a top
He's
10
the
player all
gatekeeper.
time. That doesn't work.
He's the gatekeeper.
But Kobe
Is he
was
better
the
than
most
Shaq?
dominant before.
Hey, is he better than Shaq? It's so easy. Is he better than Shaq? Is he better than Shaq? No, he ain't better than Shaq. There you go. He's my gatekeeper. He's my bouncer. Who's a better bouncer, Shaq or Kobe? Shaq.
Kobe.
No.
I'm gonna tell you
Shaq-
why.
Great
Kobe.
bouncer.
There's a
I'm
gun.
gonna tell you why
He's a
Kobe.
good gatekeeper.
Here's a gun.
OG know that everybody usually got Kobe top 5. So if he got him gatekeeping, he know nobody gonna argue when you say is Curry better than Kobe. Who gonna argue that? Everybody gonna take Kobe. KD, and we're taking Kobe. See, we close, but okay, I think you overvaluing the big man position because it's crazy how they're racing out. So I think you overvaluing one of those big men, and I believe they should move out for Kobe.
Just so you know, when Olajuwon retired, he retired in the top 10 all time in blocks, steals, and rebounds. Nobody in NBA history had ever done that.
At that point in time, though.
At that point in time,
still,
well, yeah.
James is the only guy who did it. Nobody has the top 5 in blocks.
Be higher on your list, then.
Steal, blocks, steals, and if I'm not, let me see, points, blocks, and steals.
So what?
Nobody ever did that.
Yeah, what number?
9.
So James, Steph will never be in your top 10. Then.
Sorry, where do you have Tim Duncan?
8.
Where's Bird?
7.
Bird over Kobe. That's crazy.
Look. I'm giving y'all tumors because y'all I'm trying to figure out who got to come out. Who's coming off the list? Who in the club? I got a club right here. I got a club right here. You got to come on up and you come in. Who's coming out?
Just do this. Just give people your top 12 and don't tell them the order.
He do that. I'm gonna get him. I think big man.
That Kobe as the gatekeeper logic. I never thought about that, and that actually makes a lot of sense. And I'm actually gonna hold on to that.
SB, check this out, SB. I don't know what it is you want. I don't know. Maybe you want to be on the show all day. I don't know what maybe you want. You know, my brother's big soundboard. I don't know what it is that you want. But if you get him,
I'll take it.
If you get him to get Kobe in your top 10, you just anything within reason. You just tell me it's yours.
Oh, say less. I'm in Chicago. I'm a Bulls fan, so it got to be Bulls related.
Okay.
We can do that.
Give me a signed Derrick Rose jersey. I'll be the best man ever.
Here's my brother's soundboard.
Okay. We can make it happen. Look, you don't know who I am. Now he gave me extra motivation. Oh yeah, it's on now. He gave me extra motivation. It is on now, chill.
That's actually, just so you know, because nobody seeing this will know, but you know that's the smallest one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. I'm back home. I'm off vacation because my girl was yelling at me in the background. We was in Minnesota. I'm back.
I was trying to figure out what you was doing dealing with me. I'm like, I can hear his baby in the back. I can hear his lady in the back. I'm like, what you doing here, man? What you doing dealing with me?
I got things to do.
There's nothing more important. There's nothing more important than getting you to put Kobe in the top 10.
Oh boy.
Yeah, like, you know what?
I can hear his lady in the back. I can hear his baby in the back. I'm like, yo, what you doing here? Why you ain't with your people? What you doing?
I was cold.
Your birthday just passed. So I can't use that. Although I'll tell you this, for Christmas, your birthday, whatever it is, I know what I'm getting you. I'm getting you that Nespresso machine that you want because you're jealous of my coffee. For my birthday, which is the end of May 30th, for all of y'all that want to know, Kobe in your top 10. That's all I want.
Okay. My birthday on the 20th. You got a month. Taurus, baby. So Kobe in my top 10 too.
28th of May?
20th April.
April.
Almost. Happy early birthday.
Couple weeks.
Yeah.
All right. So we're overtime. We are overtime. SB, appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate coming on.
Thanks for coming out, man. Good luck. Hopefully he can get Chill to come to the dark side.
Jay, before we end, what's the biggest, for both of you, what's the biggest switch up you've ever made in your top 10? Like when this person entered, or maybe it was LeBron, like Jay putting LeBron at 1 over Jordan. Like what's the biggest like movement up that you've
just said it.
That was
James going to number 1. I never thought that I would go there. I didn't.
Yeah,
but
it took you time.
The fact that I had to sit down and go, I think he's better than him.
Yeah, that was a big moment.
I think he's better than Jay. That was it for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, mine's easy. It's actually the same player, but having LeBron at 2, because for all the years that I've been having these discussions, I've never ranked an active player.
Right.
So not only to put an active player in, but to put him at 2. Mm-hmm. That's why when people call me a hater, I always laugh because I know that I point out a lot of his negatives, but it's because there's so many false narratives and stuff that people spew out about him that I feel like I'm honest. I've showed people my inbox. I get 100 incorrect LeBron stuff and like 1 about any other player, and it's like a mix of players. It'll be Jordan, KD, whatever, but it's 100 of LeBron things. And so maybe because I've responded to them, that now they just send them to me more. I don't know. And so for me to put so when they say hate or whatever, I would say, how can you call me a hater of LeBron? One, when I have his poster up on my wall, and two, when I have him number 2 and I don't rank active players. Just think about that. In the history of basketball, I don't rank an active player, and I put this dude, and this was years ago. This wasn't like I just put him at number 2. Like, he's been number 2 for a couple of years now.
Wait, what year? Or after what? It was after finals, after
the 70, after the 73 and 9.
Really?
So 2016? Yeah.
You too, Jay? That was the moment earlier?
Later. I wasn't convinced at that point. I actually just started having the conversation at that. Yeah, I had it was right there. It was the season before that.
Okay.
In 18-19. That's when I was like, I think he's better than Jay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like it.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Well, we are going to sign off for the night. I want to shout out the GOAT member Comatose. As always, he is great on all the various shows that we have. If you do want to become a GOAT member, go ahead and check out the link in bio. Please get the likes up on this video, and always leave comments under the video. If you don't like something we said, argue it out in the comments or leave a question for next week, and we'll try to get to it. And enjoy this last week of playoffs. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be crazy. And we'll have a little bit more to go off of next week as well. So
check out Good Friday, the panel, noon tomorrow. We ain't missing a day.
Ooh. All right. And Jay?
Take it light. Take it.
Let's go.